News. SRN's Michael Harrington reports on a new ranking of which states are the most giving.
It comes from Wallet Hub, and it reveals that Virginia is number one when it comes to donating money to churches, ministries, and other charitable institutions. New York comes in second, followed by Maryland, Georgia, and California. Giving is clearly strongest in the states that are generally the more wealthy. However, when it comes to donating one's time to local charities, Utah comes in first, followed by Wyoming, Idaho, Montana, and Minnesota. Michael Harrington reporting.
U.S. Catholic bishops have elected Oklahoma City Archbishop Paul Coakley as their new president, choosing a conservative to lead during President Trump's second term. The vote serves as a barometer for the bishop's priorities, pro-life advocacy, and opposition to the LGBT agenda. In choosing Coakley, the bishops are doubling down on their conservative bent. This is SRN News. Correspondent Ed Donahue reports on the newest member of Congress.
Adelina Grijalva was sworn in as the House's newest member.
Do you solemnly swear or affirm that you will support and defend the Constitution of the United States against all enemies, foreign and domestic?
The Democrat from Arizona won a special election more than 7 weeks ago.
And that you will well and faithfully discharge the duties of the office on which you are about to enter, so help you God.
Grijalva is filling the House seat last held by her late father. She says Americans expect lawmakers to fight for them.
That is why I will sign the discharge petition right now to release the Epstein files.
And she did, pointing to recently released emails showing the president knew more about Jeffrey Epstein's abuses than he previously acknowledged. The White House says Democrats selectively leaked the emails to smear the president.
And Donald Trump accused Democrats of trying to deflect from their failures. More details at srnnews.com.
John Fredericks loves his radio and TV audience, but did you know how to follow the Godzilla of Truth wherever you go? Download the John Fredericks Radio Show app to listen live nationwide. For the daily chit-chat, Trucking the Truth, download the Getter app and join the morning fun on Getter Live from 6 to 10 a.m. Follow John Fredericks on Getter, Truth Social, or Twitter at JF Radio Show.
It's the Michael Patrick Leahy Show, broadcasting live from downtown Nashville. Now, here's Michael Patrick Leahy.
Good morning, and welcome to the Michael Patrick Leahy Show. Hello to everyone on the John Fredericks Radio Network and everybody watching on X Live, YouTube, Roku TV, Apple TV, Fire Stick. Not yet on Rumble. That's happening, though, pretty soon. We are broadcasting live from our studios in Nashville, Tennessee. It's time for the Morning Rundown, which is brought to you every day at this time by our friends at the Glock Store. Glockstore.com, located just a few miles from the airport, right here in Nashville, Tennessee. So here we go. Here is the Morning Rundown for Thursday, November 13th, 2025. Number one, the longest shutdown in American government history is over. The House last night passed the Senate bill 222 to 209. Trump signed it about little after 10 o'clock Eastern time. Watched it. We'll play out a highlight of it of Trump. It was really funny. And then also there's a really amusing White House meme that came out that made fun of Hakeem Jeffries and Chuck Schumer. Now, in that vote, 6 Democrats crossed over to join the Republicans, but 2 Republicans, Thomas Massey of Kentucky, I know you're shocked by that, and this, I think the guy's name is Greg Steube of Florida, joined the Democrats. So do the numbers here, 222 to 209. It would have passed if the 6 Democrats had voted against it. It would have been 216 to 215, but it passed 222 to 209. And as you know, we have 3 vacancies right now. That's why that comes to 432. There are 435 members of the House. One of those vacancies is right here in Middle Tennessee. Number 2 is number 2 in the morning rundown. Early voting has begun in that Tennessee 7th special general election between West Point graduate and Army veteran, combat veteran Matt Van Epps, and left-wing nutcase AOC of Tennessee, Afton Bain, the Democrat. Early voting has begun. The election is going to be Tuesday, December 2nd. Number 3, there was a little bit of last-minute controversy in the vote to end the shutdown. The Senate slipped in a provision that allowed senators who were subjected to illegal record searches and illegal gag orders to sue the federal government for at least $500,000. The House didn't like them slipping that in. It probably is something that is worthy to be done. Little kerfuffle back and forth on that. Number 4, some Tennessee political drama calls for the resignation of Oscar Brock, the Tennessee GOP National Committeeman on the state executive committee. The guy, he's a never-Trumper. He won't back Republicans now because of the shutdown. Really? That's a violation of the bylaws. The calls for his resignation are mounting. We'll have Tom Pappert at the bottom of the hour to discuss that. Number 5, the H-1B visa controversy continues. Laura Ingraham kind of asked Donald Trump about that in their interview the other night, and Trump had an answer that was not well received. So we'll talk about that as well. Number 6, Virginia congressional redistricting. Yeah, they're slipping it in there. They're trying to move Virginia from a 6-5 congressional breakdown between the Democrats and the Republicans to 10-1. They're trying to slip that in for a vote in April. Sean Kenney, a veteran political operative from the Republican side, will join us in hour 2 to discuss that. Number 7, Aaron Gulbinson will join us in hour 3 with some analysis of the shutdown. And the number 8, John F. Kennedy's grandson is running for Congress in the Upper West Side in Manhattan. He's a very weird dude. Okay, we'll play that clip for you in the next segment. So there you go. That is the morning rundown for Thursday, November 13th, 2025, brought to you by our friends at the Glock Store. Of course, everybody knows the story. The Glock Store was founded well over 30 years ago by our friend Lenny McGill. They've moved from California to here in Tennessee about 5 years ago, and we're so glad they did. They're glad they're here, too. The Glock Store has been a sponsor of the Michael Patrick Leahy Show for years now, even before it was the Michael Patrick Leahy Show. Remember, we used to be on the old Cumulus network. I'm sorry, iHeart. What's the difference? Cumulus, iHeart. The iHeart station. We weren't able to actually do any X-Live broadcast from there because of they were iHeart. And they're not really, to be honest with you, they're not really America First over there. That's just a secret. I'm telling you that right now. Anyways, now we've been here for now. It's almost 2 years. We're coming up on our 2-year anniversary with the John Fredericks Radio Network and the 2 years of our video cast. I've been lucky enough to go to every one of the incredible yearly Glock Store open houses. Well, this year, Glock Store's doing something in addition. They've set their sights on Black Friday. It's the shopping day, one day after Thanksgiving. It's an event you're going to want to try and attend from wherever you are. The details are just now coming together, but if I had to guess, I'm thinking huge discounts on everything, including Glocks and the latest and greatest in performance parts. And, yes, knowing the Glock Store, there will be more than a few great giveaways. Now, of course, all the great Black Friday deals will also be available online, but the real party will be here in Nashville at the Glock Store, glockstore.com. That's the Black Friday celebration from Lenny McGill and the one and the only Glock Store, minutes from the Nashville airport. Yeah, probably the air traffic controllers will be back to work by then. And so, the chances of a flight delay, if you're, in California or Oregon, you want to come here, are probably not that high. Worth the drive from anywhere if you live East Tennessee, West Tennessee, Arkansas, Kentucky, you want to drive down. So come on down, especially on Black Friday for the Glock Store. So there you go. All right, let's go to Donald Trump's comments late last night. They were really outstanding. Here we go. Donald Trump, his comments on the signing of the bill to end the government shutdown.
For the past 43 days, Democrats in Congress shut down the government of the United States in an attempt to extort American taxpayers for hundreds of billions of dollars for illegal aliens and people that came into our country illegally, from gangs, from prisons, from mental institutions. They wanted to pay them $1.5 trillion, which would have really hurt our healthcare businesses and our recipients at levels never seen before. Today, we're sending a clear message that we will never give in to extortion, because that's what it was. They tried to extort. The Democrats tried to extort our country. In just a moment, I'll sign a bill exactly like we asked Democrats to send us all along, many days ago. This cost the country $1.5 trillion, this little excursion that they took us on. Republicans never wanted a shutdown and voted 15 times for a clean continuation of funding. There's never been a time when one or the other party ever didn't sign a continuation. It's just a continuation, not a big deal. It's a continuation and we'll talk later. Yet the extremists in the other party insisted on creating the longest government shutdown in American history, and they did it purely for political reasons.
Yes, they did. Now, what did the Democrats get from this 43-day shutdown? Nothing. I mean, they got the promise that there will be a vote on their desire to extend the tax credits for Obamacare. Okay, well, they could have gotten that September 30th. The White House put out this funny meme, and now if you're listening on radio, you just hear the song, but I'll talk about what it is. Let's play it right now.
I will remember you.
Now, there's a picture of Hakeem Jeffries. Okay. And anyways, the meme is funny. You got to go look at it. You can see it on our program. We'll be back with more after this. I'm Michael Patrick Leahy. Yeah, shutdown fallout after this.
How much did you win at Rosie's Gaming Emporium?
Hi, I'm Jerry from Richmond. I won a $23,000 jackpot at Rosie's.
I'm Tammy. I'm from Newport News, and I just won a $5,400 jackpot from Rosie's.
Hi, my name is Kim, and I'm from West Virginia, and I won $99,000 jackpot at Rosie's.
Are you ready? Learn more about Rosie's rewards and jackpots at rosiesgaming.com. Must be 18 or older. Problem gambling? Call 1-888-532-3500.
Now more than ever, it's imperative to support companies that share our conservative values. That's why I can't be more excited to tell you that I've switched my family to Patriot Mobile. Patriot Mobile is America's only Christian conservative wireless provider. When you switch to Patriot Mobile, you shift your support away from the leftist, woke, progressive agendas of Big Mobile. Patriot Mobile's wireless service works perfectly and seamlessly as you go about your lives with exceptional nationwide coverage that uses the same towers the main carriers use. Patriot Mobile donates a portion of every dollar earned to causes you care about, to organizations that fight for religious freedom, First and Second Amendments, sanctity of life, and the needs of veterans and first responders. Patriot Mobile has plans to fit any budget, along with great discounts for our veterans and first responder heroes, as well as multi-line users. Switching is easy. Just go to patriotmobile.com/Godzilla or call their U.S.-based customer service team, 972-PATRIOT. That's 972-728-7468. Use offer code Godzilla for free activation.
Is your fur baby looking a bit rough? Transform them from shaggy to snazzy with Befur and After Pet Grooming in Marietta, Georgia. Their top-notch groomers pamper your pups with baths, custom cuts, and nail trims that'll have them strutting like show dogs. From mobile grooming vans to their cozy salon, they'll make your pet spa day a tail-wagging blast. Book now at BefurandAfterGrooming.com. Befur and After, where pets go from grr to glamorous.
I'm Ed Evans, CEO of Consumer Cellular. Ever wonder why Big Wireless wants you on an unlimited plan? They probably want you to cover the cost of those 20-somethings using all that data every month. But most people 50 and up like me only use 12 gigs or less. Don't get bamboozled by Big Wireless. Switch to Consumer Cellular. Our plans start at just $20, and we use the same towers as the big guys. Join the millions who choose something better, because if you're not using all that data, you're probably getting used.
Call 1-888-FREEDOM or visit consumercellular.com/facts. Plans include $5 credit for auto pay and e-billing. See site for additional facts.
Hey, I'm Mike Slater. My dad passed away at the age of 63. It's out of nowhere. Had a stroke. Super hard, obviously, for the whole family, but my dad had life insurance. This is why I have life insurance for my family, for my wife and 4 kids. And the best place to get life insurance is ethos.com, because you can do it in 10 minutes. And there's no medical exam and no blood test, just a few health questions. Get life insurance in 10 minutes so your family is protected. Ethos, E-T-H-O-S, ethos.com/Mike.
I'm Lenny McGill, founder and CEO of Glockstore.com. For over 30 years, I've supported the Second Amendment rights of free men and women to protect themselves and their families with firearms. We offer the very best in both selection and prices on Glock handguns, custom Glocks, Glock magazines, and high-performance shooting accessories at Glockstore.com. We also have the finest retail showroom and our Shoot 270 shoot rooms right here in Nashville, Tennessee. Come visit us at Glockstore.com, and you'll be glad you did.
I didn't risk my life for this country just to watch career politicians wreck it.
Matt Van Epps, 9 combat tours, true American hero.
Now, I'm on a new mission to bring down prices, create good-paying jobs, and lower healthcare costs for working families. I'm Matt Van Epps, and I approve this message to fight for America, because that's what I've done my whole life.
Matt Van Epps for Congress.
Paid for by Matt Van Epps for Congress.
This is State Senator Mark Pody. Government is limited to what it is supposed to do. One of the things that is critical that we're supposed to be working on is transportation. Here in Middle Tennessee, our roads need more help. As your state senator, we are focused on getting more money reoccurring without a new tax increase for our roads here in Tennessee. This is State Senator Mark Pody.
Paid for by Campaign for Mark Pody, Christina Hibden, Treasurer.
Welcome back to the Michael Patrick Leahy Show. Now, here's Michael Patrick Leahy.
Okay, so what was this shutdown about? It was really a kind of an episode of Seinfeld. It was a shutdown about nothing. Well, maybe a little bit. You know, political gamesmanship on the part of Chucky Schumer, the Palestinian minority leader of the Senate, and Hakeem Jeffries, soon to be challenged by a far lefty. He's far left, but a far lefty is going to challenge him. Mamdani, the Muslim Marxist from Manhattan, who's mad that, we haven't implemented Sharia law yet. That guy, this is all a plan. The Olan Democrats are done. There is no Democrat Party. Now, what's interesting, having said all that, there are problems with Americans under the age of 30. There's significant problems with Americans under the age of 30. We've got a poll about that. Actually, maybe even, under the age of 30. They're not doing well. And they've all been propagandized. And as you recall, 75% of New York residents under the age of 30, said, we don't want, we want to vote for the Muslim Marxist. I think we've got some polling results here. We'll go right to that right now. Clip 9. This is the pollster with Rasmussen Reports talking to Steve Bannon about how Donald Trump is viewed by those under the age of 30.
Well, I think we're seeing it play out right in front of our eyes. And what we're seeing out of the conservatives is that conservatives, having conserved nothing, are attempting to conserve conservatism. And at this point, I kind of think it's a luxury value. And Trump is out there just destroying the movement. I mean, the last 3 days have literally just been disaffected MAGA people who've been on the Trump train for 10 years, DMing me some of the most horrifying and ridiculous stuff. Like, one of them was like, God saved Trump. so that he could give us 50-year mortgages. There are people that are really bleak and unhappy right now. And just to like rewind, we are talking about an election, and everybody can dismiss it. There's a whole bunch of Democrat places dismissing, voting for Democrat people. But what really was the story is that independents and crossover Democrats did not turn out for Trump at this point. His approval rating's not that bad. He's got a 45% approve, 54% disapprove, so he's underwater 9 points. Not as bad as Biden this time 4 years ago, but he had the Afghanistan crisis, but the lowest of his term so far, and we lost the 40% right direction numbers down to 37%. But people deserted the Republican Party in a very predictable manner because all of the copium that the Republicans did back in the fall, the country moved towards Republicans. Everybody's Republican. We're registering Republicans everywhere. Scott Pressler's like magic. We're so great. Everything's back. When in reality, what it was is that it was a referendum, like I've told you many times, on government trust and the Biden era basically clown world that we saw that destroyed the economy. And quite frankly, he didn't do it all. It was the cherry on top of 30 years of hollowing out of the American middle class. And everybody said prices was the number one issue, inflation. But really, we've been talking about economic populism for a very long time. The problem is that literally corporatism has destroyed capitalism in a way that the youth are really starting to figure out right now. And they thought that there was going to be change. They thought there was going to be accountability. They thought there was going to be a redress of their grievances, from the weaponization of the legal justice system to like all of the oppression to the healthcare state that tried to give them the vaccine, like literally everything. And they've seen nothing, and they've given Donald Trump a lot of leeway, and they've gotten very little, especially out of Republicans. They wanted massive change, not business as usual, and Republicans have given them quite resounding business as usual right now.
Well, the Republicans are always going to give them you can see this House debate right here. No. But when you talk about populism, you talk about economic nationalism, in your mind, what are these people? Because we've made some huge bets now about the execution of those bets, or articulating what those bets are, because I don't think they're doing a great job of that. I think they can do a great job. You've got the manpower. President Trump's the best at doing that, but with Bessent and Navarro, and you've got Hassett and others. What do you think these people are? They looking to take a bigger hammer to the deep state? Are they looking for the jobs to come back? Are they for the tariffs to kick in? When you say there's unrest and now they're and they understand prices, but prices.
Okay, let me just jump in. The bottom line is we didn't get to the punchline. The punchline is polling shows that those under the age of 30, Donald Trump's approval rating has gone below 40%. What's this mean? This is a warning sign. You combine this with 75% of those under 30 who live in New York City voted for Zohran Mamdani. I'm telling you, the Turning Point USA has seen a lot of enthusiasm on campuses in the 2 months since the assassination of Charlie Kirk by a far left nutcase. But the reality is the combination of the propagandizing in K-12 public schools, the propagandizing in colleges, combined with the old line regime media drumbeat, quote fascism, etc. It is leaving a mark among young people. And we really have to go out and be more aggressively making the case for the America First movement to younger people. One guy doing that is Brandon Gill. He's a U.S. representative from Texas. We have him just before the vote in the House, clip 6.
Out this evening to vote to reopen the federal government.
House should be in order.
Mr. Speaker, for 40 days, the Democrats shut our government down to pursue unrealistic policy proposals that they know the American people do not want. Mr. Speaker, the American people do not want health care for illegal aliens. They do not want our tax dollars funding left-wing media outlets, and they do not want to drive up our debt $1.5 trillion as part of a short-term continuing resolution. Mr. Speaker, the last 40 days have been nothing but pure political nihilism, and I'm glad that this nightmare is over so that we can get back to work on behalf of the Americans.
Okay, so Brandon Gill, he's actually the son-in-law of Dinesh D'Souza, the filmmaker. He's 32 years old, young guy, very articulate. He is representing the youth vote, but I'll tell you what, there are a lot of younger people in America who don't have a depth of understanding about American history or the American Constitution. That's one of the reasons why we started the National Constitution to be up again. But to give you an example of that, let's go to clip one. An example of that, this is a very weird story. John F. Kennedy's grandson, Caroline Kennedy Schlossberg's son, Jack Schlossberg, has just announced he's going to run for Congress in New York City's Upper West Side part of Manhattan. This guy's a very weird dude. If you don't believe me, let's take a look at this social media post he put up just about 6 months ago.
She's got a ticket to ride. She's got a ticket to ride. She's got a ticket to ride, but she don't care.
Okay, so this is the kind of stuff that's modest compared to what this guy said. For those of you just listening on radio, what Schlossberg put up there, very typical for him. He was, just wearing a pair of gym shorts and didn't have a shirt on and was, acting like, let's say, the most effeminate Broadway performer you could imagine. Well, that's a guy who, and it's a crowded field, but and his politics are pure nihilistic socialism. Guy's never had a job, and he worked for Vogue magazine. Very weird dude, but that's the kind of messaging that probably resonates among under 30 people in New York City. Now, I don't know about the rest of the country, but this is a huge problem that we have right now. And the fact that there is a resurgence of Turning Point USA in campuses around the country, it may be misleading you to think that the majority of young people are coming over to the America First agenda. They are not. There are strong conservatives in America First in Turning Point USA, but the majority of under 30 have gone socialist. We got to stop it. When we come back, some Tennessee news from Tom Patrick. I'm Michael Patrick Leahy.
Now more than ever, it's imperative to support companies that share our conservative values. That's why I can't be more excited to tell you that I've switched my family to Patriot Mobile. Patriot Mobile is America's only Christian conservative wireless provider. When you switch to Patriot Mobile, you shift your support away from the leftist, woke, progressive agendas of Big Mobile. Patriot Mobile's wireless service works perfectly and seamlessly as you go about your lives with exceptional nationwide coverage that uses the same towers the main carriers use. Patriot Mobile donates a portion of every dollar earned to causes you care about, to organizations that fight for religious freedom, First and Second Amendments, sanctity of life, and the needs of veterans and first responders. Patriot Mobile has plans to fit any budget, along with great discounts for our veterans and first responder heroes, as well as multi-line users. Switching is easy. Just go to patriotmobile.com/Godzilla or call their U.S.-based customer service team, 972-PATRIOT. That's 972-728-7468. Use offer code Godzilla for free activation.
President Trump is rebuilding our economy, but we need every American in the fight. People leaving federal prison have a 60% unemployment rate, but a job is the #1 factor in preventing reoffense. The Safer Supervision Act is a pro-jobs bill. It helps people leaving prison on federal supervision rejoin our workforce to turn former prisoners into taxpayers. Strengthen our economy. Make America safer. Support the Safer Supervision Act. Visit safersupervision.com. This message paid for by the Reform Action Fund. Cold weather is here, and it's only getting colder. When you want instant whole room warmth, you go with Eden Pure, a trusted name for years on my show. Now they've done it again with the Eden Pure Gen 40 Plus infrared heater. This powerful compact unit gives you fast, even heat you can feel in seconds. Infrared heat warms you directly, not just the air around you, and it doesn't dry out the air. It's quiet, compact, and safe with multiple built-in safety shutoffs, and it heats up to 1,000 square feet. Perfect for the living room, bedroom, or office. And right now, Eden Pure is thanking our listeners. The Gen 40 Plus normally sells for $224, but Eden Pure is giving our VIP listeners an additional $50 off, bringing it to just $174. That's right, only $174 for state-of-the-art infrared heater. Now, this is a limited time offer with a strict limit of 3, and supplies are moving fast. So go to EdenPureDeals.com, use promo code Godzilla50. EdenPureDeals.com, promo code Godzilla50.
Is your pet ready for some pawsome fun? At Creekside Pet Hotel in Kennesaw, every day is a tail-wagging adventure. Whether they're romping with friends in day camp, enjoying a staycation in our cozy boarding, or getting pampered in our luxury spa, we make sure every furry guest gets the royal treatment. Happy pets, wagging tails, and the best care. What more could they ask for? Book your pet's perfect getaway today at CreeksidePetHotel.com or give us a call at 770-422-4700.
I'm Matt Van Epps, and I approve this message.
Meet woke liberal Afton Bain.
This is great. We've got our girl squad, and we're bullying the ICE vehicles and state troopers. So this is a win.
Afton Bain, so woke, she thinks it's a win to harass police.
This is great. We've got our girl squad, and we're bullying the ICE vehicles and state troopers. So this is a win.
Woke liberal Afton Bain. When she wins, we lose.
Paid for by Matt Van Epps for Congress.
My fellow Americans, I have to tell you about my good friends at D.T. McCall & Sons. They have furniture and appliances and a lot more. They've been family-owned in Middle Tennessee for over 100 years, and they're not going to rip you off. No hidden charges, no delivery charges, no charges for all of the crazy things. These are sick people at the lumber yards. These are very sick people. They charge you for cords and hoses and haul-off. They charge you for all of these things. They call them hidden charges. It's the type of surprise that you don't want to see. It's like an October surprise, but it's worse. D.T. McCall & Sons, they're not going to do that. They're great people. They're going to give you a great deal. With locations in Lebanon, Carthage, Lafayette, Cookeville, and Franklin, D.T. McCall & Sons will give you the deal of your life. Check them out today or go to dtmccalls.com.
Impersonator not endorsed by Donald Trump.
Welcome back to the Michael Patrick Leahy Show. Now, here's Michael Patrick Leahy.
Welcome back to the Michael Patrick Leahy Show. We are joined on our Zoom Newsmaker line right now by the National Journalism Award nominee, Tom Pappert, a lead political reporter at the Tennessee Star and the Star News Network. We have three Tennessee stories to talk about. We'll hit them in order over the next two segments. The first is Oscar Brock, the never-Trumper, who has been the Republican National Committee member from the Tennessee Republican Party for about 9 years. He's kind of a Nepo baby. His father apparently was the U.S. Senator from Tennessee, Bill Brock. I think it's the Brock Candy guys, I think. But he said, no, I'm not going to support any Republican member of Congress in 2026 because of the shutdown. Sounding a lot like Chucky the Palestinian Schumer, it seems to me. Then we've got another great story about Elon Musk's Boring Company. They're sending some special equipment here to the Music City for the Music City Loop. And then in our final segment of the program, we'll talk about a breaking story related to our Covenant Killer investigation. FBI Director Kash Patel has fired the guy who's in charge of the part of the FBI that put out that legacy token memo, which said, yeah, you can go ahead and destroy anything from a mass murderer because we don't want people to know about it. Yeah. Okay, so we broke that story a couple years ago. Let's go right now to the Oscar Brock saga. Set the story up for us, Tom. What do we know about Oscar Brock?
Well, Michael, this is, of course, the Tennessee Republican Party Executive Committee member. He's also the committeeman to the National Republican Committee, the RNC. And this is the individual who, as you said, about 2 weeks ago now, said that he was sick of Republicans in Congress not working with Democrats to reopen the government. And specifically, he said that he was going to cease all support for Republican incumbents, and instead he would be donating to a local food bank over objections to the loss of SNAP funding briefly during the shutdown. We reached out to Oscar Brock to say, are you serious about this? As a member of the Tennessee Republican Party Executive Committee, are you really going to cease support for all Republicans in the state of Tennessee? And if so, are you really doing this because you want to support the Democrats as they seek $1.5 trillion to pay for illegal immigrant health care? Well, he replied to us not by saying, no, you misunderstood my post, but by saying you're wrong to accuse the Democrats of wanting to help illegal immigrants get free health care. Well, since then, Michael, there's been about a half dozen calls for his resignation. We've reached out to the Tennessee Republican Party chairman, Scott Golden, to ask if there is going to be a meeting of the executive committee, at which point they could call for his resignation. I also, Michael, just checked this morning before hopping on your program. He has yet to acknowledge that the Republicans successfully ended the government shutdown without negotiating or really surrendering to the Democrats. In fact, I think this is going to be universally praised as a Republican success story. President Donald Trump, Thune, and Johnson finally grew a backbone. The latter two, we know Trump's had a backbone, and now we have a government that is not funding items against the interests of its own citizen. Oscar Brock apparently has no comment on that, but Michael, I think I'll have to reach out and see if his position has changed since the government has reopened.
Well, whether it's changed or not, you cannot have a member of the executive committee of the Tennessee Republican Party violate the bylaws so egregiously with that statement he's not going to support Democrats. He sounds like Chucky Schumer. He really does. And look, let's be honest. He's a Nepo baby who's been on that committee for 9 years, and he's an ever-Trumper. He's got to go. You got to resign, Oscar. And if you'd like to, you can join the Democrats, which is where I think you belong today. And let's get Scott Golden. Scott Golden is not taking a position on this yet. Scott's our friend. We're going to try to get him on the show. But look, you got to hold the meeting. You got to fire the guy or have him resign. Otherwise, the Tennessee Republican Party is, it has no purpose. The purpose of the Tennessee Republican Party Executive Committee is to get Republicans elected. And if, the Republican National Committeeman from Tennessee is saying, I'm not going to work for Republicans, there's no excuse for keeping him on board. So there you go. All right, let's go to the next topic here. Elon Musk. Elon Musk is kind of a fun palate cleanser, isn't he, when you talk about politics. What's the story now with his boring company in the Music City Loop? What's the big news on that?
Well, of course, the Boring Company is coming to Nashville, Tennessee. Really, they're already there. They're building the Music City Loop. It's going to be a point-to-point connection between the airport and downtown, potentially more points to follow if the company gets its way. Well, it's sort of been quiet, Michael. Of course, it was announced over the summer. They broke ground so they could do soil testing and figure out what type of drill they would need. Well, now it's heating up yet again. The company announced on Sunday that it has completed its custom drill that's going to be used in Nashville. Nashville apparently has very hard rock. They're used to places like Las Vegas, Nevada, which I guess is very soft rock. So they've had to build a fascinating boring device from scratch that they claim is going to be able to take out, excavate, I guess is the word, millions of pounds of earth with each thrust of the machine. They've been testing it at their headquarters, and it's going to be sent to Nashville now. Very interestingly, though, Michael, there's been a lot of state support for this. The governor is obviously on board. Multiple state agencies have been granting permits, but there apparently has been some sort of snag, a slight snag. They were initially saying it would be late next year that the Music City Loop would open. They're now saying early 2027. So we'll have to keep an eye on that and make sure that this thing doesn't get out from under us. But I don't think that's going to happen under Elon Musk's watch.
When I look at stories like this, Tom, here's what I think. Democrats can talk and bloviate. They cannot accomplish anything. They can't build anything. But entrepreneurs and America First Republicans, they can get things done. So, for instance, Elon Musk. I mean, that guy's got the rocket ships going. That guy's got rocket ships, landing back specifically into their little hooks in Starbase, Texas. It's just spectacular. And he has successfully built this underground tunnel in Las Vegas. I think it's only 2 miles. Now they're going to do this one here in Nashville, and they're building special equipment to work with the very unique elements. I guess it's the limestone here, right? Is that the issue here in Nashville?
Yes, and apparently it's variable depths too. So at one point there's no limestone, and then the very next 2 inches over, you're back into very dense rock. And by the way, I just contrast, as Republicans, MAGA people are building the very technology that will define the future of our country, what is Metro Mayor Freddie O'Connell up to? Well, it was reported a couple months ago that he just doesn't want to be involved because he wants this to happen. He knows it's going to be a great thing for the people of Nashville, but he can't be seen politically as approving it because Elon Musk and Donald Trump are bad.
Yeah.
So the Democrats even know this. They just have to run away and hide rather than actually be part of building the future.
The other thing, the contrast here is the front runner for the Democratic nomination in 2022, California Governor Gavin Newsom. California is a complete disaster. They had, of course, the bad forest management practices, the failure of even providing water in the fire department in Los Angeles. So they had the Pacific Palisades fire that wiped out, I don't know, how many houses? 15,000, 20,000? Wiped them out.
I was just going to say, I think the total was something like 30,000 damage. So yes,
they have not built one back. I mean, that fire happened in January, and here we are, like 10 months later, nothing's being done. So the guy goes down to Brazil. I mean, did you see this? Brazil.
I did.
And he's a caricature of a liar. And a liar with elaborate jazz hand motions, right? And he goes down to Brazil, and he says, we have such a great economy in California. We get things done. No, you don't get things done. You can't even build a house back in the Pacific Palisades area of Los Angeles. It's an utter disaster. Democrats cannot get anything done, period. And I think Gavin Newsom is the poster child for that, Tom.
Well, Michael, not just the Pacific Palisades where those poor people are waiting to rebuild, but how about his train to nowhere?
Oh, yeah.
The monorail that's going to connect, what is it, San Francisco with Los Angeles? I might be getting the details wrong, but it's been going for more than a decade, I believe. They've done like 10 miles of it. And finally, the Trump administration has said, we're not giving you any more money for this thing. It's literally a bridge to nowhere.
Yeah. And, the other thing that's kind of interesting on this, Tom, is kind of, a metaphor for the failure to actually make things work in California. Did you see this video the other day? I guess it happened in September. The Bay Area Rapid Transit, it's kind of a subway system. Somebody who was driving it fell asleep while they were driving it, and like the train was out of control. And by the time they woke up, They'd gone past. It was a big mess. That's kind of a metaphor for the Gavin Newsom Democrat. I can't get anything done, but my hands move a lot.
My favorite part of that clip, Michael, was at the end where the driver stands up and goes and addresses the passengers and says, "Be quiet. We didn't crash. Don't panic. Like, because they didn't die, there's nothing to worry about." That's very much the Democrat philosophy.
Okay, when we get back, we've got some Covenant Killer Manifesto-related news. Kash Patel has fired the guy in charge of the legacy token memo that we broke back in May of 2023. Tom Pappert, back after this.
Each of us is born with 30 trillion cells that make us. These cells determine how we feel, perform, sleep, focus, and how long we live. And to live our best life, all we have to do is feed our cells properly. But most supplements don't reach our cells, keeping us from reaching our full potential. Make every cell count with Healthy Cell. Founded with a mission to empower people to take control of their own health at the most fundamental level, the cell. Dr. Vincent Giampapa, world-renowned cell researcher and medical doctor, created supplements that work at the cellular level to support immune health, better sleep, sharper focus, and healthy aging. Go to healthycell.com and use code GODZILLA for 20% off your first order of any product. That's healthycell.com, HEALTHYCELL, and use code GODZILLA for 20% off.
Get in. We're stealing homes. We're not like those other home criminals that steal your stuff. We steal your hard-earned home equity. We find your property online from the public record. Got it. Create a deed transfer that makes us the homeowners. Got it. And borrow tons of cash against your equity, and you won't know till the foreclosure notice hits months later.
Just go to HometitleLock.com/Godzilla. Protect yourself.
Lifestyles Unlimited is a real estate education group that gives you the roadmap and resources to start building income through real estate. You'll learn practical strategies for using investment properties to create extra income and make informed decisions, one step at a time. Join today for just $297. That's a 60% savings off the regular price of our real estate education program. Text radio to 88007. That's RADIO to 88007. Presented by Lifestyles Unlimited.
Did you ever stop and think, why do the wealthy pay less taxes than we do? One reason, they take full advantage of the IRS tax code. Today's tax code is over 2 million pages. Who can read that? Remember the 2016 debate with Hillary Clinton? When asked why he doesn't pay more taxes, President Trump had the perfect answer. He said, if you don't like the current tax code, change it. I follow the very laws that you wrote. That's where Julio Gonzalez and his company, Tax Engineered Services, comes in. Julio's team looks at your taxes after they're done, but before you file them with the IRS. He doesn't get between you and your accountant. He reviews your taxes, makes his recommendations, and only gets 5 to 10% of what he saved you. No money up front, no cost. It's tax literacy for MAGA. He also sees what grants you may qualify for. For more information, text ETS to the number 26786. That's ETS to 26786. Text now.
Hey there, it's Lenny McGill, founder and CEO of GlockStore.com. For over 30 years, I've supported our Second Amendment rights with GlockStore.com, the world's #1 source for Glock handguns, parts, and accessories. I also support accurate, unbiased journalism like The Michael Patrick Leahy Show. His team broke the Kilmar Abrego Garcia traffic stop and was the first to obtain that video. Independent journalism at its finest. Visit us at GlockStore.com, listen to Michael Patrick Leahy, and make America great again.
This is State Senator Mark Pouty. Government is limited to what it is supposed to do. One of the things that is critical that we're supposed to be working on is transportation. Here in Middle Tennessee, our roads need more help. As your state senator, we are focused on getting more money reoccurring without a new tax increase for our roads here in Tennessee. This is State Senator Mark Pouty.
paid for by Campaign for Mark Pody, Christina Hibden, Treasurer.
Welcome back to the Michael Patrick Leahy Show. Now, here's Michael Patrick Leahy.
Welcome back to the Michael Patrick Leahy Show. On our Zoom Newsmaker line right now, National Journalism Award nominee Tom Pappert, lead political reporter for the Tennessee Star and the Star News Network. Okay, Tom, we're going to do something unusual here because there are two topics that are fascinating, and they're all kind of related to a couple things that we've hit on dramatically: the Covenant Killer Manifesto, and then the Kilmer-Abrego Garcia. In this segment, I want to talk exclusively on the firing of the FBI executive who ultimately is in charge of the unit that put the legacy token memo together. That we broke that story back in May of 2023. Then hold over through the news break, and then I want to talk about the sanctimonious Erez Reveni, who is facing now an ethics complaint, and properly so, for his conduct subsequent to his firing. Now let's go to explain to everybody the story that we broke at the Tennessee Star in May of 2023 about a memo that the FBI sent to the Metro Nashville Police Department called Protection of Legacy Tokens.
Well, I want to briefly take everybody back in time, Michael, back to 2023 in March, April, May, June, July, after this horrible tragedy happened at the Covenant School in Nashville, Tennessee. A transgender school shooter, Audrey Hale, killed 6. And then we found out through media reports and the department's own statements in Nashville, the police department, that this killer had written voluminous manifestos. Turned out to be more like journals written over the course of more than a decade. But we were quickly told that these wouldn't be released. Michael, you had to sue both Metro Nashville and the FBI to try to get this to happen. And it wasn't until last year in the summer, in July, when we received a portion of the writings legally, and we also received a number of investigative documents from Metro Nashville legally from a source, that we discovered perhaps the reason why these journals had been so buried and so guarded. And it was a memo titled The Preservation of Legacy Tokens. This was from an entity within the FBI called the Behavioral Analysis Unit, which itself is a part of an FBI subgroup called the Critical Incident Rapid Response Group. And this memo was addressed to Chief John Drake of the Metro Nashville Police Department, and in one page it made the case for why things like transgender killer manifestos should never be released to the public. And it was frankly quite insulting to the public. It said that it would empower pontificators who might go on the radio and share their uninformed opinions with the audience.
Yeah.
And that could create conspiracy theories that would be harmful, and it could even inspire future mass shooters. So, Michael, of course, we reported this. We asked the FBI for more information about this memo. They frankly denied that it exists, and we sort of have put it on the back burner after FBI Director Kash Patel started leading the agency. He, of course, authorized the release of multiple, I think we're up to like 800 pages now of the killer's writings. But it was just earlier this week that it was reported FBI Director Kash Patel fired an individual by the name of Stephen Palmer. Palmer was a 27-year veteran of the FBI who for the past several years has been leading the Critical Incident Rapid Response Group. I think that this is a very good sign from Kash Patel. It's being reported the firing came over controversy related to the director's use of FBI jets. This person oversaw the FBI jets. I have a hunch that this was a long time coming, and I am personally very happy about the decision.
Well, now we can ask him more about the legacy token memo. So just to put it in context, Audrey Elizabeth Hale, the 28-year-old self-described biological female who identified as a male, murdered 6 Nashvillians on March 27th, 2023 in the Covenant School here in Nashville. Then in May, I think May 12th of 2023, this unsigned preservation of legacy token memo, which, by the way, came out of the Bureau of the BAU, Behavioral Assessment Unit of the FBI in Quantico, was unsigned, but it said also, among other things, there's precedent for destroying documents in mass murderers. That was really, really bad. That came out in May of 2023. We did not obtain it. We obtained it legally until I think June or July. I think it was June of 2024. And we published a story. The FBI denied that it existed, but it exists. Metro Nashville Police Department won't comment on it either. And we don't know if there was any action taken by Metro Nashville Police Department or other police departments to destroy evidence from mass murderer situations. But we've got to get to the bottom of this. And now I think, Tom, you're going to follow up with the FBI and say, okay, let's get more details on the origin of the legacy token memo.
Absolutely. And I also would like to know, and we've asked this before, to be clear, before Patel was confirmed, and they were not willing to answer our questions. But I also want to know exactly how many departments received a copy of this legacy tokens memo. One has to wonder if every time there is a transgender mass killing or something similar, some similar tragedy, if the FBI doesn't send this to local police to essentially intimidate them, in my opinion, into not releasing it.
My guess is they probably do. We'll find out more. Hey, when we come back, the sanctimonious Erez Reveni, who got fired for not zealously representing his client, now he faces an ethics complaint. And I think he's in big trouble. Back with Tom Pappert after the news.
In 2008, the amount of concentrated time people could spend on a task without becoming distracted was 12 seconds. 5 years later, it was only 8 seconds, 1 second less than a goldfish. If you're often distracted or have trouble recalling information, you're likely to fall behind in the demanding, fast-paced 21st century. In other words, brain performance is more critical now than ever. Boost your brain power with Healthy Cells Focus Plus Recall. Science-backed nootropics to help you sharpen focus, concentrate longer, enhance recall, improve mental speed, learn rapidly, and be more alert. It's a pill-free brain supplement made with maximum absorption ingestible gel technology, designed to feed your brain at the cellular level. Take it for a test drive. Go to healthycell.com and use code GODZILLA for 20% off your first order of Focus Plus Recall. Healthycell.com, code GODZILLA for 20% off.
The Katz and Cosby Show.
It's the top news of the day.
John Catsimatidis and Rita Cosby tackle today's biggest issues with a New York state of mind.
We are going to talk about dirty money.
This is a total failure of the media, the journalists, and the Democratic Party.
Treat yourself to a bite of the apple.
It's a common sense recap of the big stories.
Katz and Cosby, weekdays 5 Eastern, 4 Central on the stations of the John Fredericks Media Network.
And those are the big headlines of the day.
John Fredericks loves his radio and TV audience, but did you know how to follow the Godzilla of Truth wherever you go? Download the John Fredericks Radio Show app to listen live nationwide. For the daily chit-chat, Trucking the Truth, download the Getter app and join the morning fun on Getter Live from 6 to 10 a.m. Follow John Fredericks on Getter, Truth Social, or Twitter at JF Radio Show.
This is WJFN Goochland, Bonaire, Chester, and WJFB Portsmouth, part of the John Fredericks Media Network.
News this hour I'm Greg Clugston in Washington. The U.S. government reopened after House lawmakers approved a funding bill and sent it to the White House. At a late-night Oval Office signing ceremony, President blamed Democrats for the 43-day shutdown.
This was an easy extension, but they didn't want to do it the easy way. They had to do it the hard way. They look very bad, the Democrats do. So I just want to tell the American people, you should not forget this. When we come up to midterms and other things, don't forget what they've done to our country.
Expiring Obamacare tax credits were the reason Democrats forced the shutdown, but in the end, there was no guarantee to extend those subsidies. There won't be any more flight cuts now that the government has reopened.
The Federal Aviation Administration says there won't be a change in flight cuts as more air traffic controllers return to work. The Department of Transportation and the FAA say flight reductions at 40 major U.S. airports will remain at 6% instead of rising to 10% by the end of the week. The agencies made the announcement as Congress moved to pass legislation ending the longest government shutdown in history. Transportation Secretary Sean Duffy says the 6% limit will stay in place while officials assess to see whether the air traffic system can safely return to normal. The flight cuts were implemented last week as more air traffic controllers were calling out of work, citing stress and the need to take on second jobs, leaving some control towers and facilities short-staffed. I'm Mike Hempen.
More than a week after that fiery UPS plane crash in Louisville, all 14 victims have been identified and their families notified. Wall Street early trading, the NASDAQ down more than 1.5%. More at townhall.com.
Hey, it's Mike Gallagher, host of The Mike Gallagher Show. I don't mess around when it comes to saving you money. Right now, rates have dropped to the lowest level in over a year and a half. That means if you bought your home or refinanced in the last 3 years, you could be saving hundreds of dollars every month. Lower your rate, lower your monthly payment, even kick that pesky PMI to the curb. And you can skip 2 full months of mortgage payments. But that's not all. Fellowship Home Loans just rolled out something incredible. Their very own HELOC and lines of credit. Approval in just 5 minutes. Money in your account in as little as 4 days. It's the easiest system you've ever used. You can do it yourself online. Whether you want to pay off bills, tackle a home project, cover education, or even a wedding, Fellowship Home Loans makes it simple to leverage the money that's already sitting in your house. Just go to fellowshiphomeloans.com/Mike G. fellowshiphomeloans.com/Mike G. or call 800-510-MIKE. 800-510-MIKE, 800-510-6453. Fellowship Home Loans, mortgage lending guided by the book.
Nationwide Mortgage Bankers, DBA Fellowship Home Loans, Equal Housing Lender, NMLS number 819382.
Dozens of people were hospitalized in Oklahoma after a tanker truck spewed anhydrous ammonia gas in a hotel parking lot. It happened in the town of Weatherford. Hundreds of people were housed in shelters, several nursing homes were evacuated, and schools were closed. The tanker is no longer leaking. More than a week after that fiery UPS plane crash in Louisville, all 14 victims have now been identified, their families notified. Here's Louisville Mayor Craig Greenberg.
As we share the names of those who we've lost, our city feels the full weight of this unimaginable tragedy. Behind every one of these names is a circle of family, friends, stories that will forever be unfinished.
After closing at a record high yesterday, the Dow Jones is now down over 300 points in early trading today. Townhall.com. Women are getting around in Iran. Correspondent Keith Peters explains.
Women are increasingly seen riding motorbikes in Iran's capital, where laws and religious mores once barred women from motorbikes. It's part of a wider reconsideration by women about societal expectations. It's not all-encompassing, particularly as hardline politicians call for laws on the hijab or headscarf to be enforced again, as Iran cracks down on intellectuals in the wake of the 12-day Iran-Israel war in June. Still, it does represent a change. Keith Peters, Washington.
Researchers are reporting 2 promising approaches to counteract malaria's growing drug resistance. Novartis says a new experimental drug tested in 12 African countries shows a cure rate exceeding 97%. Another study in West Africa also effective. More at townhall.com.
It's the Michael Patrick Leahy Show, broadcasting live from downtown Nashville. Now, here's Michael Patrick Leahy.
And welcome back to the Michael Patrick Leahy Show. We continue our discussion with the nominee for a National Journalism Award, Tom Peppert, our lead political reporter at the Tennessee Star and the Star News Network. Okay, let us now talk about the sanctimonious fired attorney from the Department of Justice, Erez Reveni. This guy was fired because in the Kilmar Abrego Garcia case, he did not zealously represent his client. We went into extensive detail about this. Then after he got fired, he appeared on 60 Minutes and started whining and complaining about something he heard from his client, the Department of Justice. Turns out that might represent a significant problem for him. Tell us about this ethics complaint brought against him.
Well, Michael, I should say that it was more than just 60 Minutes. He filed a so-called whistleblower complaint with a nonprofit organization legally representing him, in which he allegedly put attorney-client privilege in the complaint. He went on national public radio and did a lengthy interview with the NPR network about what was in that complaint. And so we're not just talking about the 60 Minutes interview, but really everything this guy has been doing since he was summarily dismissed for his role in the Kilmar Abrego Garcia case. This is a new complaint now that comes from a nonprofit group called Democracy Restored. It is filed against Erez Ruvini in California with the Bar of California. It specifically cites a California bar rule, and frankly, there is a bar rule like this, from my understanding, in every bar association in the world, that says you are not allowed to share attorney-client privileged information. And the examples are, in my opinion, fairly cut and dry. He took information that he learned from his client. One example is that we've highlighted in the past is whether or not Abrego Garcia was a member of MS-13. He was asked by a member of the DOJ to determine whether or not they could say this legally, and then he went and ran to the media and told everybody about how nasty it was that he was given this request.
And by the way, let's remind everybody, 2 immigration court judges asserted in 2019 in decisions from immigration court when he was trying to get released, when he was his immigration deportation hearing was being conducted. He was in custody at that time. They said there was sufficient evidence tying him to MS-13 to keep him in custody. He somehow, when he was asked to represent before Judge Paula Zenas that there were MS-13 ties, he forgot about that, didn't see it, didn't look at it. I mean, come on. It was there. Why didn't you bring it up, Erez?
Well, and he even went further. He said that this was essentially proof the Trump administration was lying about Abrego Garcia and asking him to go to court and lie, when, again, all he had to do was just read from the previous 2 judges who said that, in their opinion, Abrego Garcia was credibly accused of being a member of MS-13. Now, what's interesting about this is Ruvini has been hiding behind federal whistleblower laws, which he says shield him in his ability to leak and run his mouth about attorney-client privilege. Because remember, he was representing both DOJ and DHS and has been telling all of their legal strategies to anybody who will listen. Well, of course, there are federal laws, but the complaint notes that this has nothing to do with state bar association rules that govern the conduct of all attorneys. They write, quote, "This is as clear-cut a violation of Rule 1.6 as one could find. If Ruvini's actions do not warrant bar discipline, then the rule might as well be nullified. Doing so would create extraordinarily bad precedent, as all current and future government employees can speak about every decision to which they disagree." And by the way, they note that this is nonpartisan. They say that this would hurt Democrats as much as Republicans. Imagine if there is a Republican attorney in the state of California who could essentially throw Gavin Newsom and his administration under the bus by going to Fox News or perhaps the Michael Patrick Leahy show and discussing California's legal strategies.
Yeah, the other thing about Erez Ruvini is we're looking, why is this case brought in California? Because he passed the bar in California, and I think he went to law school out there. I don't know why he took the bar in California. Maybe he practiced there a little bit. I think he went
if memory serves from his 60 Minutes interview, Michael, he graduated the bar somewhere on the East Coast, but he moved to San Francisco, California, where he wanted to practice law and was very excited to spend the early years of his career.
Yeah, I think he went to Boston University Law School. He graduated from there and then somehow ended up in San Francisco shortly before he got a gig with the Department of Justice. That's why, and the bar that he passed is California. which, it's not an easy bar to pass. Yeah, he graduated from Boston University School of Law in 2006. And so I think actually, I don't know. He was with a company called Morrison and Forrester, which I think, it's out in San Francisco for a couple of years. So that's why he took the bar out in California. Now, we know in California, the Bar Association there is, let's be honest, crooked and leftist. They actually have disbarred the great constitutional scholar John Eastman, and for ridiculous reasons. We covered that trial for, I don't know how many days it was, 43 days. We covered it extensively, and I don't think he's going to get a fair deal out there, or that Eastman didn't get a fair deal. I think Erez Raveni, this complaint, my guess is because, in my view, the California Bar Association is crooked. I think they'll just dismiss it. What do you think?
You could very well be correct about that. And the complaint seemed to understand this was a real risk. They talk about, we're not saying a value judgment about whether his leaks were good or bad. We're just saying this violates the rule. And as I mentioned, they specifically say this could hurt Gavin Newsom if we don't take care of this. But I sort of hope, the cynic in me hopes, Michael, that if this bar association is that narrow-sided, then I hope that Republican attorneys in the state of California take this seriously. And if they are given de facto permission to leak against their governor, well, perhaps then they should take full advantage.
See, here's the problem with that. I agree with you, but the Bar Association in California is so biased, so dishonest. Here's what I think is likely to happen. Let's track this, but I think they will summarily dismiss this complaint, even though it is very meritorious, shall we say. And if anybody who is a conservative in California does the exact same thing, they'll end up disbarring them. That's what I think. Your thoughts, Tom Pappert?
Well, you're probably right, Michael. I guess at the end of the day, the hypocrisy of the left is not something that we want to bet on, but I do think that this is going to be a thorn in Erez Raveni's side if it is not summarily dismissed. If this gets to the next level at all, I will be very interested to see whether the Government Accountability Project, the nonprofit that's been representing him so far, whether they will continue to represent him in a bar complaint, or if any other far left partisan legal groups might come to Raveni's defense.
So what I think is most likely to happen here is, in a partisan move, I think the Bar Association of California, because they're leftist and they're crooked, in my view, I think what they're going to do is they're going to dismiss it, but this is going to lead to a whole series of attacks on the California Bar Association, and ultimately it may lead to the point where, you know what, they end up having severe consequences and maybe end up getting disbanded long term. My view. Tom, thanks for joining us today.
Thank you, Michael. It's always a pleasure.
Excellent reporting. Hey, when we come back, H-1B visas. What's the story there? Bad news for America? Yes. What's going on with the president on this? We have some thoughts. Back after this.
Let's be real. Losing weight isn't just about looking good. It's about taking back control of your overall health. 42% of adults in America are classified as obese, and obesity is directly linked to severe health issues. If you've tried diets and different workouts with no success, it's not your fault. Big Food and Big Pharma have rigged the system against you with contradicting information, leaving you confused. But there's good news. The Wellness Company just launched Drop, a GLP-1 peptide oral drop formula developed by their chief medical board, specifically designed to support your metabolism, curb cravings, and help you shed weight. That's right. No injections, no risk of the severe side effects we're seeing with the Ozempic. Start your weight loss journey today and get $100 off, plus free shipping. Go to twc.health/Godzilla and use promo code Godzilla100. That's twc.health/Godzilla. Promo code Godzilla100. Take action today for a healthier tomorrow.
Hey folks, Al Green here for SatPhone. When you're on the go, you want to know you're connected. If it's a family vacation or an off-the-grid escape to a remote destination, having reliable communication helps you feel safe and secure. You can't afford to find yourself in a dead zone. That's why you need SatPhone. SatPhones are reliable, durable, and give you global coverage. If you can get outside, you can get in touch. It's that simple. Make calls from your SatPhone to any regular cell phone in the United States. The phones are a $1,500 value, but you can get yours free. Just sign up for a 15-month plan, $94.95 a month. Get 150 minutes monthly that roll to the next month. Go 3 months without using them, that's fine. Yes, 3 months, 450 minutes, all yours. Visit SAT123.com or call 855-980-5830. SAT123.com, 855-980-5830. Get surety and security with your SatPhone. Call now.
President Trump is rebuilding our economy, but we need every American in the fight. People leaving federal prison have a 60% unemployment rate, but a job is the #1 factor in preventing reoffense. The Safer Supervision Act is a pro-jobs bill. It helps people leaving prison on federal supervision rejoin our workforce to turn former prisoners into taxpayers. Strengthen our economy. Make America safer. Support the Safer Supervision Act. Visit safersupervision.com. This message paid for by the Reform Action Fund.
Is your pet ready for some possum fun? At Creekside Pet Hotel in Kennesaw, every day is a tail-wagging adventure. Whether they're romping with friends in day camp, enjoying a staycation in our cozy boarding, or getting pampered in our luxury spa, we make sure every furry guest gets the royal treatment. Happy pets, wagging tails, and the best care. What more could they ask for? Book your pet's perfect getaway today at creeksidepethotel.com or give us a call at 770-422-4700.
I'm Lenny McGill, founder and CEO of Glockstore.com. For over 30 years, I've supported the Second Amendment rights of free men and women to protect themselves and their families with firearms. We offer the very best in both selection and prices on Glock handguns, custom Glocks, Glock magazines, and high-performance shooting accessories at Glockstore.com. We also have the finest retail showroom and our Shoot 270 shoot rooms right here in Nashville, Tennessee. Come visit us at Glockstore.com, and you'll be glad you did.
I didn't risk my life for this country just to watch career politicians wreck it.
Matt Van Epps, 9 combat tours, true American hero.
Now, I'm on a new mission to bring down prices, create good paying jobs, and lower healthcare costs for working families. I'm Matt Van Epps, and I approve this message to fight for America, because that's what I've done my whole life.
Matt Van Epps for Congress.
Paid for by Matt Van Epps for Congress.
This is State Senator Mark Pouty. Government is limited to what it is supposed to do. One of the things that is critical that we're supposed to be working on is transportation. Here in Middle Tennessee, our roads need more help. As your state senator, we are focused on getting more money reoccurring without a new tax increase for our roads here in Tennessee. This is State Senator Mark Pouty.
Paid for by Campaign for Mark Pouty, Christina Hibden, Treasurer.
Welcome back to the Michael Patrick Leahy Show. Now, here's Michael Patrick Leahy.
H-1B visas, a hot topic going on in America today. In an interview with Donald Trump earlier this week, Laura Ingraham asked President Trump about it, and his answer was not satisfactory to a number of his supporters in the America First movement. Let's go right now to that question and answer.
There's never going to be a country like what we have right now.
And does that
the
mean
Republicans have to talk about it, Laura.
And does that mean the H-1B visa thing will not be a big
priority for your administration, because if you want to raise wages for American workers, you can't flood the country with tens of thousands or hundreds of thousands of foreign workers.
You also do have to bring in talent. When
we have plenty of talented people here.
No, you don't.
We don't have talented people here?
No, you don't have certain talents, and people have to learn. You can't take people off an unemployment line and say, I'm going to put you into a factory where we're going to make missiles, or I'm going to put you.
How did we ever do it before?
Well,
I'll
give you an example. In Georgia, they raided because they wanted illegal immigrants out. They had people from South Korea that made batteries all their lives. You know, making batteries are very complicated. It's not an easy thing and very dangerous. A lot of explosions, a lot of problems. They had like 500 or 600 people, early stages, to make batteries and to teach people how to do it. Well, they wanted them to get out of the country. You're going to need that, Laura. I mean, I know you and I disagree on this. You can't just say a country's coming in, going to invest $10 billion to build a plant, and going to take people off an unemployment line who haven't worked in 5 years, and they're going to start making missiles.
Okay, so the president here, this is a mistake on his part. And Will Cain on Fox News had this description of the H-1B visa program. Let's play his clip right now.
700,000 H-1B visa holders in America. Now, who is coming to this country to take these high-skilled jobs? As I mentioned, STEM fields dominate the occupations, and most of the workers come from India. In fact, 70% of H-1B visa holders come from India. Another 10 to 15% come from China. 80% of H-1B visa approvals are for entry-level or junior-level jobs. That's a little hard to stomach when we hear that we're not talented enough or that we're not skilled enough for these jobs, when you consider that most of these jobs are actually at entry or junior-level jobs. And it's definitely to the benefit of corporations, tech companies that can hire foreign workers, trust me on this, cheaper than American workers. This is laid out, by the way, by billionaire tech entrepreneur Palmer Luckey.
There's so much H-1B abuse. You would not believe what I saw when I was in Silicon Valley. It is insane. It's obviously a program to try and replace U.S. workers with basically slave labor that can't ever escape. The H-1B abuse is crazy.
Yeah, he's absolutely right about that. And what happens here is, it's not like you have a genius the only genius who figures out how to do certain AI tech stuff. Now, this is junior level, entry level stuff, and it's designed to bring in less expensive foreign workers. And once they have somebody in a supervisory position, I was talking to somebody at an event the other day, and they said, look, they came from an area of California that was populated by a bunch of H-1B visa arrivals, because once they've got a supervisory position, they're not going to hire an American. They're going to bring in their cousin or their nephew from India or some other country on H-1B visas. This needs to stop. And I'll tell you who else agrees with me on that. Stephen K. Bannon. Here we go. Clip 24. Stephen K. Bannon on H-1B visas.
But that's the situation right now. With Scott now, I got a whole new thing. We're just coming here temporarily for shipbuilding, some weapons, and the advanced chip design is a special category. Some people have told me you need a place like Taiwan that has, half the nation has 800 on their math scores, which we don't. Because it's both an art, both a science and an art. But we got to see those numbers. What are you talking about? Now they're only going to be here for a couple of years. Has anybody told the H-1B department that that's actually a case, Secretary Bessent? I love it let's say I don't love it, but I like it a lot more than what else I'm hearing. Is anybody informed the guys that it's temporary, you're going to come over to train people up, and as soon as they're trained, you're leaving? I don't think corporate America works like that. I think as soon as they get cheap labor, you got to go with the trenching tool and dig it out, because, hey, that adds to the operating income, which adds to the bottom line, which is going to mean a higher multiple and a higher stock price. And guess what? My management package is going to kick in, and I'm going to make a whole lot more money.
Yeah, he's exactly right. Now, it's not just H-1B visas. It's the entire immigration program. Chip Roy has a view on this. He's a member of the House. I think he's running for Attorney General of Texas now. But let's play this clip 20. Chip Roy talking about We need to end all immigration for a period of time, and I'll talk to you about the historical context of this in a bit.
I've got a bill that I'm going to be introducing this week or next. We've had to wait because of the shutdown nonsense. That is a freeze on all immigration. Freeze it until we achieve certain objectives. Reforming things like chain migration and diversity and H-1B, ending H-1B, getting birthright citizenship dealt with, ending, for example, Plyler v. Doe, which says that you have to educate illegal alien children. Go down the list of things. For example, my bill that says you got to vet people for their adherence to Sharia law. Why are we importing any human being that is adherent to Sharia law, which is totally contrary to the Constitution and our values in Western civilization? So my point is, we can amend that bill and people can have ideas, but I'm going to introduce a bill as a framework to say, why don't we just freeze immigration entirely until we sort this crap out, until we figure out who's here, why they're here, how many Chinese communists, how many people who are Islamists who want to remake America, how many people that are living on the public dole, that are living on welfare, that are going into the emergency room to get care, that are in our education system getting taxpayer-funded education because the Supreme Court declared it so. Let's pause all that, and that'll actually be the name of the bill, the Pause Act.
I love that idea. And look, I'm in favor of this. We in essence, we had this problem back early in the 20th century. The foreign-born population of the United States had increased dramatically. I think from about 9% to 15% over a 2 or 3 decade period of time. And in 1920, after World War I, the Congress passed a law, in essence, freezing all immigration. That was the case because the new arrivals were not assimilating. Well, the problems that existed in the early 20th century of America are far more dramatic today than they were in the early 20th century of America, of this country. And so I think I'm in favor of this. I think we should have at least a 5-year freeze on all immigration. 5-year freeze, maybe 10. But because right now, if you look at it, when the foreign-born population of New York City is voting overwhelmingly for a Muslim Marxist from Manhattan, who clearly wants to destroy our constitutional republic, Mamdani, we have a problem. And we can't be like England. England and Great Britain pretty much gone because they've let all these Islamists in. They're ending free speech there. You can't criticize Islam in the United Kingdom. That cannot happen in the United States of America. What we need to do, I agree with Chip Roy, we need a 5-year, maybe a 10-year freeze on all immigration. Get rid of all the anti-Americans who've snuck in here who wanted to destroy our country. Let them go back. Deport them. When I say get rid of, I mean deport them. I'm all in favor of that. You know who else wants to deport them all? Stephen K. Bannon, clip 25. Let's hear from Stephen on this.
Headline today, I want to get your thoughts because obviously President Trump, the number one issue he was elected on and people wanted to see was obviously immigration, the border, ICE, deportations. I saw this headline, Biden judge poised to order the release of a horde of illegal aliens captured by ICE in Chicago. My question to you is, absent some kind of judicial reform or immigration law changes in these must-pass bills, it seems like this is just another issue that's going to kind of circle the drain for the rest of this presidency. What can President Trump do about this?
I think first off, ask for emergency clearance to go to the Supreme Court. Remember, our track record at the Supreme Court right now, backing President Trump's Article 2 powers about the emergency, national security emergency on the border, and about it's basically been viewed as an invasion. The lower level courts always always against us because they judge shop, and you've got these really radical progressive judges. We've had a better record at the appellate courts, but at the Supreme Court, we've kind of run the tables. Right? Because they keep coming back and say, hey, these are political considerations, not legal. These are political considerations. They have to be dealt with in political sphere.
So Steve ends up saying, let's go hard on deportation of illegals. I'm for that. Let's make America America again. Hey, back with Sean Kennedy. Sean Kennedy, rather. Going to talk to us about what's going on with Virginia redistricting. Back after this.
This is Crom Carmichael, CEO of Solti. We got a wonderful email from one of our customers up east named Joe, and here's what he had to say. I started taking Solti almost out of desperation with little hope because I was resigned to the futility that although I was up to taking 2 statins a day, high cholesterol was something I just had to learn to live with. In fact, when I turned 60, after taking a stress cardio test, my doctor called me on a Saturday, which of course is never a good sign, and told me that I was clogged more than 95% of the people my age. I had an angioplasty and a stent procedure done at that time. Today, my stubborn triglycerides are only 1/3 of what they had been before starting taking Solti. My prescription statin dosage has shrunk from 60 milligrams to only 10 milligrams a day. My primary care doctor that I have had for many years still can't believe the results, and neither can I. Thank you, Solti, for providing such a wonderful product. And folks, I want to invite you to take care of your heart also by going to GodzillaHeart.com. That's GodzillaHeart.com. Use the code Godzilla at checkout, and you'll get a 50% discount on your initial shipment. Thanks so much.
Is your fur baby looking a bit rough? Transform them from shaggy to snazzy with Befur and After Pet Grooming in Marietta, Georgia. Their top-notch groomers pamper your pups with baths, custom cuts, and nail trims that'll have them strutting like show dogs. From mobile grooming vans to their cozy salon, they'll make your pet spa day a tail-wagging blast. Book now at BefurandAfterGrooming.com. Befur and After, where pets go from grr to glamorous.
Why is Purple Wave Auction the fastest growing heavy equipment marketplace? Our full service online auctions take the hassle out of buying and selling farm, construction, and fleet equipment. Thousands of business owners partner with Purple Wave each month to manage their equipment. Sellers count on our experienced professionals to handle the marketing, paperwork, and payments. And bidders trust in a marketplace free of reserves and hidden fees. Purple Wave is the turnkey online auction service you've been looking for. Purple Wave Auction. Straight, simple, sold.
How much did you win at Rosie's Gaming Emporium?
Hi, I'm Jerry from Richmond. I won a $23,000 jackpot at Rosie's.
I'm Tammy. I'm from Newport News, and I just won a $5,400 jackpot from Rosie's.
Hi, my name is Kim, and I'm from Gloucester, Virginia, and I won $99,000 jackpot at Rosie's.
Are you ready? Learn more about Rosie's rewards and jackpots at rosiesgaming.com. Must be 18 or older. Problem gambling? Call 1-888-532-3500.
The Cats and Cosby Show.
It's the top news of the day.
John Catsimatidis and Rita Cosby tackle today's biggest issues with a New York state of mind.
We are going to talk about dirty money.
This is a total failure of the media, the journalists, and the Democratic Party.
Treat yourself to a bite of the apple.
It's a common sense recap of the big stories.
Cats and Cosby, weekdays 5 Eastern, 4 Central on the stations of the John Fredericks Media Network.
And those are the big headlines of the day.
Welcome back to the Michael Patrick Leahy Show. Now, here's Michael Patrick Leahy.
We are joined on our newsmaker line right now by our good friend for many years, an expert on politics of Virginia, and a fellow adult learner, as I am, my very good friend, Sean Kenny. Welcome, Sean.
Hey, Michael. Good to have you. Thanks for having me on the show. I really appreciate it.
Well, you and I first met back in 2010 when I was working with, we were both working for Richard Viguerie, the icon of the conservative movement, and we traded roles as editor of Conservative HQ. Subsequently, you've had a terrific career in Virginia politics. I guess you're still actually going to get a PhD in philosophy as well. Is that right?
I'm just still in graduate school, yes.
Yeah. But have a full-time gig. I don't know if I think I told you this when we met about a month and a half ago. You were here in Nashville as part of the Republican Attorney General's Association at an event there, and I was surprised and pleased to see you there. So I'm doing the night law school thing and doing some constitutional law stuff right now. Now, you're affiliated or have been working in some capacity with the Attorney General of Virginia, but now we're talking right now in your private individual capacity. Tell me, please, Sean, what is going on with redistricting in Virginia for congressional districts?
Well, initially we had it was a nonpartisan redistricting, which is a method of you get five Republicans, 5 Democrats, you sit them across from the aisle, they hash it out in a nonpartisan way, and hopefully everything goes to plan. If it doesn't go to plan, it gets run up the flagpole to a judge who's called a special master, and then if nobody can get along, the special master draws the lines. This passed several years ago. And the predictable thing happened, right? Nobody could get along or agree with how the lines are being drawn. And so then what happens is sure enough, it went to a judge in California, and the Californians get to draw our lines. We have been under that regime for some time. And
Whoa, hold on. A judge in California gets to draw your lines? Are you kidding me?
That's correct. How
did that happen?
Not the people of Virginia. Well, because the people of Virginia decided it had to be so.
Okay.
Not the people's representatives, mind you.
Okay.
But, an arcane system where it gets redrawn. So what happens next, of course, is that, we get the threat of redistricting in California, where Gavin Newsom and his endless genius decides that he wants to go ahead and play games. Well, then, of course, other states, Republican states, do likewise, and so what happens at this point is that in Virginia, the Democrats have decided, if those are the rules, then those are the rules, and they start redrawing the lines, despite the fact that nonpartisan redistricting passed by a near 2-to-1 margin in the Commonwealth of Virginia, in an effort to take partisanship out of the process. The Democrats, at least at this point, seem very intent on reintroducing it. Solely for the fact that it works in their advantage, and they're not going to be cool. They're not going to be kind. They're not going to be generous about this. They're going to take it to 10-to-1 seats, and they're going to gerrymander it in such a way to where Democrats, despite in the last presidential elections 53-47, you would think that would be a 6-5 representation. No, they intend to take it 10-1 in order to drive a point home, because they can, for no other reason.
Okay, so currently there are 11 members of the House of Representatives from Virginia. 6 are Democrats and 5 are Republicans. Do I have that right?
That's correct.
And so now there will be, I guess, a second vote in early 26 in both House and the Senate. And if they vote to have a referendum to redistrict according to these partisan lines, then that referendum will go before the voters of Virginia in April or May. Do I have that right?
That's correct.
Okay, so is there any legal maneuvering that can be done to stop this process, or is this inevitable?
It's possible. There's a number of questions that are coming up. Again, not an attorney, wouldn't know one way or the other, but it's safe to say that this is unusual in Virginia, not just on the legal aspect of it, but just in the collegiality. We tend to talk a lot about the Virginia way here in Virginia, where, yes, we may disagree, but we do so respectfully and with some attention to the rules. That seems to be going completely out the window, and the Democrats are making their intentions known. They have the tools, they have the votes. You haven't won the argument by any stretch, but they're certainly making their case known. And that's sort of where we're at. Now, will there be legal challenges? Undoubtedly. Where those stand, again, I wouldn't know precisely about any of that. But I can tell you this, is that Virginians typically have a good sense of fair play. They understand when, one side or the other is overreaching. And quite honestly, you see the election results in Virginia. You can take an opinion on it one way or not, but the fact of the matter is that the Democrats aren't one iota more popular due to the outcome of that race. The fact of the matter is that the Virginia voters, and I think most Americans writ large, are sending a message, and the message is this. They want government to start working. They want the dysfunction that they see in Washington not to come to Richmond. And what they don't want, what the last thing anything wants, is for the dysfunctional style of politics that most people reject coming back home to their states and their localities. If that's a lesson that the Democrats haven't learned yet in their hubris over the last election results, I think they're going to be in for a rude awakening mid-year and in 2026.
So let's kind of continue this. Let us, just for the sake of discussion, let's say the legal efforts to stop this referendum do not succeed. Then there will be at least one ballot referendum item would to amend the Constitution of the state to allow this partisan redistricting to go forward. Is there the possibility that there will be other referendum items that would drive turnout in favor of the Democrats on that referendum ballot?
I doubt that, but it remains to be seen. Obviously, we're living in different times, so is it a possibility? Perhaps. Is a probability? Doubtful, but we'll see.
So we're looking at maybe April or May, a statewide referendum to set up, basically to authorize the establishment of this highly partisan congressional redistricting plan that would likely turn the Virginia delegation from 6 Democrats and 5 Republicans to 10 Democrats and 1 Republican. If that goes to a vote, what does it look like? How would the people of Virginia vote?
Well, that's a good question. Again, if you look back at nonpartisan redistricting, it passed by a nearly 2-to-1 margin. You look at the recent election results, Spanberger won by 15 points. And so once again, you've got a lot of Virginians are not monolithic voters. There's a lot of swing on the gate. They are a discerning lot at the end of the day. We like to assess, like fair play and things of that nature when it comes into how we choose to be represented. Look, I mean, if the question comes down to fair play and getting partisanship out of our politics, I think the voters are going to look at this move by the Democrats for what it is and reject it. If, on the other hand, it turns out to be, like defending democracy or it's super partisan, which is inevitably where the Democrats want to take the conversation, could have a very different result. But if you're a Republican listening to this, I mean, this is a little bit more than just fair play at stake here. It's good process at play. The Democrats literally are willing to trample over that good process in order to send a message to Washington, particularly Donald Trump. The question is whether or not, to borrow the term, our democracy or our Constitution or our sense of fair play is going to override these small partisan, sharp, opinions that seem to want to take us down a different path. I have to believe at core that Virginians are going to do the right thing, and I have to believe at core that Virginians are going to size this up, especially in a, what for us would be kind of an off-season primary sort of situation, and look at it for what it is, and see that it is kind of a partisan move, and reject it on that basis. If they truly want nonpartisan redistricting, so-called, let the process that the voters approved of by a 2-to-1 margin go forward. And if they want to change that, they get the opportunity to do that in 2030, but they don't get to do it midway through the game.
Some people have sent up the alarm to this effect. If this passes, if this is on the ballot, and if it passes, a 6-5 Democrat advantage in the congressional delegation in Virginia would go to 10-1. That would be a net gain of 4 seats for the Democrats. Some are saying that could potentially be what changes the majority in the House of Representatives in the 2026 elections to Democrat control. Do you see that as a possibility?
That depends on how wide this goes. I mean, listen, Virginia's not exactly operating in isolation. You've got California making moves, Texas, Indiana, other states that are considering this. And look, if it's going to be that sort of contest where every Democratic state and every Republican state sends a near total delegation of one party over the other, I mean, maybe that's the world we live in. I have to think, though, that we work best when we hear all voices, and when those voices best represent the proportionality of the people voting in them. You consider places like Massachusetts, where, again, 40%, maybe a little bit more, are Republican up there. How many Republican seats does Massachusetts actually have? Very few, and by design. And
zero.
Yeah, exactly. And so so this is not this is a problem. I think everybody recognizes it as such, but again, I think in Virginia we've done a really good job of balancing that out. It would be a shame if we flip that apple cart for narrow and ultimately temporary advantage in a response to partisan concerns somewhere else.
Are the Republicans in Virginia prepared to mount a strong political effort to stop this referendum if it gets on the ballot in April?
I think after the elections, I think we're doing a bit of soul searching right now. The long and short of it is this: if we don't do some soul searching and draw the line here, the line may never be able to be drawn again. I mean, we might be in the wilderness for the next 20 years. So I think Republicans need to see this straight on. I think we need to realize what's at stake. And we need to be able to place our trust in the voters of Virginia and in the people, because I think that they're going to see it much more clearly than the House and Senate Democrats are seeing it presently. And that's where I think all we have to do is make the argument. I think we win the argument. And as the old lines goes, if you can win the argument, then you win the vote.
Sean Kenney, our good friend, expert on all things political in Virginia. Sean, it is a delight to have you on the program. Really appreciate your coming on today.
Hey, no problem. Thanks for having me on.
All right. The great Sean Kenney. There you go. A lot of people are wondering, are the Republicans going to sleepwalk through this referendum if it happens the same way they kind of sleepwalk through the gubernatorial election? I don't know. Could have significant long-term consequences. We'll be back with more after this. I'm Michael Patrick Leahy.
Hey folks, Al Green here for SatPhone. When you're on the go, you want to know you're connected. If it's a family vacation or an off-the-grid escape to a remote destination, having reliable communication helps you feel safe and secure. You can't afford to find yourself in a dead zone. That's why you need SatPhone. SatPhones are reliable, durable, and give you global coverage. If you can get outside, you can get in touch. It's that simple. Make calls from your SatPhone to any regular cell phone in the United States. The phones are $1,500 value, but you can get yours free. Just sign up for a 15-month plan, $94.95 a month. Get 150 minutes monthly that roll to the next month. Go 3 months without using them, that's fine. Yes, 3 months, 450 minutes, all yours. Visit SAT123.com or call 855-980-5830. SAT123.com, 855-980-5830. Get surety and security with your SatPhone. Call now.
Why is Purple Wave Auction the fastest growing heavy equipment marketplace? Our full service online auctions take the hassle out of buying and selling farm, construction, and fleet equipment. Thousands of business owners partner with Purple Wave each month to manage their equipment. Sellers count on our experienced professionals to handle the marketing, paperwork, and payments. And bidders trust in a marketplace free of reserves and hidden fees. Purple Wave is the turnkey online auction service you've been looking for. Purple Wave Auction. Straight, simple, sold.
When you're learning something new, experience matters. At Lifestyles Unlimited, we've spent over 30 years teaching people how real estate investing works and how to build income with a clear, step-by-step strategy. Our program is designed to help you learn what to do, why it works, and how to take action at your own pace. Join today for just $297, a 60% savings off the regular price. Text radio to 88007. That's RADIO to 88007. Presented by Lifestyles Unlimited.
Cold weather is here, and it's only getting colder. When you want instant whole room warmth, you go with Eden Pure, a trusted name for years on my show. Now they've done it again with the Eden Pure Gen 40 Plus infrared heater. This powerful compact unit gives you fast, even heat you can feel in seconds. Infrared heat warms you directly, not just the air around you, and it doesn't dry out the air. It's quiet, compact, and safe with multiple built-in safety shutoffs, and it heats up to 1,000 square feet, perfect for the living room, bedroom, or office. And right now, Eden Pure is thanking our listeners. The Gen 40 Plus normally sells for $224, but Eden Pure is giving our VIP listeners an additional $50 off. bringing it to just $174. That's right, only $174 for state-of-the-art infrared heater. Now, this is a limited time offer with a strict limit of 3, and supplies are moving fast. So go to EdenPureDeals.com, use promo code Godzilla50. EdenPureDeals.com, promo code Godzilla50.
I'm Matt Van Epps, and I approve this message.
Meet woke liberal Afton Bain.
This is great. We've got our girl squad, and we're bullying the ICE vehicles and state troopers. So this is a win.
Afton Bain, so woke she thinks it's a win to harass police.
This is great. We've got our girl squad, and we're bullying the ICE vehicles and state troopers. So this is a win.
Woke liberal Afton Bain. When she wins, we lose.
Paid for by Matt Van Epps for Congress.
Hey there, it's Lenny McGill, founder and CEO of GlockStore.com. For over 30 years, I've supported our Second Amendment rights with GlockStore.com, the world's #1 source for Glock handguns, parts, and accessories. I also support accurate, unbiased journalism like The Michael Patrick Leahy Show. His team broke the Kilmar Abrego Garcia traffic stop and was the first to obtain that video. Independent journalism at its finest. Visit us at GlockStore.com, listen to Michael Patrick Leahy, and make America great again.
This is State Senator Mark Pody. Government is limited to what it is supposed to do. One of the things that is critical that we're supposed to be working on is transportation. Here in Middle Tennessee, our roads need more help. As your state senator, we are focused on getting more money reoccurring without a new tax increase for our roads here in Tennessee. This is State Senator Mark Pody.
Paid for by Campaign for Mark Pody, Christina Hibden, Treasurer.
My fellow Americans, I was this close, very close, to buying from the lumber yards. These are sick people. But I turned my head at the last second, and I saw a big, beautiful ad for D.T. McCall's. These are highly respected people. If I had not turned my head at the last second, I would have been ripped off at some lumber yard for $200 in hidden charges, and D.T. McCall & Sons are never going to do that. They'd never do that to you. These are great people. I've known them for a long time. They have great deals, and I just have to say, nobody knows deals like I do. D.T. McCall & Sons has locations in Lebanon, Carthage, Lafayette, Cookeville, and Franklin, and they have been family-owned in Middle Tennessee for over 100 years. These are tremendous people. D.T. McCall & Sons. Check out one of their stores today.
Impersonator not endorsed by Donald Trump.
Welcome back to the Michael Patrick Leahy Show. Now, here's Michael Patrick Leahy.
Welcome back. Well, the theme of this segment is how anti-common sense, far-left, extreme every Democrat in the country has become, with the exception of John Fetterman, the senator from Pennsylvania, and Paul Young, the mayor of Memphis, Tennessee. Case in point, Al Green, who is a representative in the House of Representatives, far lefty from Houston, Texas, has decided American taxpayers should not get any tax refunds whatsoever because, he doesn't think they deserve it. Clip 12, let's play that.
President Trump is now talking about leaving the government out of the health care issue and sending the money straight to the American people. Would you support that? Is that a fix for this ongoing problem?
Well, Republicans used to call that redistribution of wealth. Someone ought to ask them, is this redistribution of wealth when you take money from the American people? By the way, those are tax dollars. Those are tax dollars. This whole fiasco has been one episode of pretense on the president's part that the money is coming from China and other countries, while in fact it has been coming from many of the business people in this country and some of the consumers in this country. So those are tax dollars. And what he's saying to people is, I'll take your tax dollars and give you some of your tax dollars back. I find that very offensive. You shouldn't take them in the first place.
Okay, so it's offensive for the money. Now, he mixed up two issues there, the tariffs and the health care, Obamacare payments. Trump is saying, look, let's not pay the insurance companies. Let's pay the taxpayers. Let's pay American citizens directly with this. It's offensive to the Democrat. I'll tell you what else is offensive to Democrats. And an example of how utterly insane the entire Democrat Party's become, and the leadership of the Democrat Party. They're so afraid of these far-left communists that want to challenge them in a primary. This is a story from the city of Chicago, which is, one of the worst blue cities in the country, run by a lunatic leftist, Mayor Brandon Johnson. The treasurer of the city is also a lunatic leftist. Here's the story. Chicago treasurer will no longer invest any of the city's $10 billion portfolio in U.S. Treasury bonds in order to, wait for it, protest Trump. This is from the Chicago Sun-Times. City Treasurer Melissa Conyers-Irvin touched off a political firestorm on Wednesday by declaring the city's $10 billion portfolio her office controls will no longer invest in U.S. Treasury bonds to protest what she called the, quote, authoritarian regime of President Donald Trump. Here's what she said, quote, Chicagoans do not want us to bankroll the regime, the authoritarian regime of Donald Trump, where he has waged a war on our city, said Conyers-Irvin. Wait for it. Here's the punchline. One of 13 Democratic candidates and 15 candidates overall vying to succeed retiring U.S. Rep. Danny Davis in the 7th Congressional District. I don't know. I mean, to me, being the treasurer of the city of Chicago would be a better job, but she apparently wants to go and be part of the squad in Washington, D.C. All right, a better idea comes of common sense. We got time to put this in. Ron DeSantis in Florida wants to get rid of the property tax everywhere. Here we go.
From the property tax situation. It's very important given how that's pinched so many homeowners, particularly our senior citizens who have their homes paid off and they bought it 30 years ago for a certain amount. Now they're being told it's worth so much more and they have to pony up more and more money. It's almost like they have to pay rent to the government just to be able to enjoy their property. And that's wrong. And we need to do something about it.
Yeah, and what he's suggesting, as is our friend Ben Cunningham with the Nashville Tea Party, who will be here in studio on Monday, just eliminate property taxes. I think that's a great idea. I favor it. Because if you own a house, why should you have to, pay rent to the government to keep owning it? We'll be back with more. Aaron Goldmanson, if all goes well, will join us after the news. I'm Michael Patrick Leahy. The website, TennesseeStar.com.
On Golf with Jay Delsing, hear the stories of star makers like Scotty Scheffler coach Randy Smith.
Much for joining us today.
I knew that there was going to be something real close to what we're looking at when he was 6.5 years old.
Wow.
So I was one of the luckiest guys in the world to be standing on the right street corner when the right bus came up.
Plus the latest equipment news and tips on playing better golf. Golf with Jay Delsing, Saturday mornings, 11 Eastern, 10 Central on the John Fredericks Media Network.
Now more than ever, it's imperative to support companies that share our conservative values. That's why I can't be more excited to tell you that I've switched my family to Patriot Mobile. Patriot Mobile is America's only Christian conservative wireless provider. When you switch to Patriot Mobile, you shift your support away from the leftist, woke, progressive agendas of Big Mobile. Patriot Mobile's wireless service works perfectly and seamlessly as you go about your lives with exceptional nationwide coverage that uses the same towers the main carriers use. Patriot Mobile donates a portion of every dollar earned to causes you care about, to organizations that fight for religious freedom, First and Second Amendments, sanctity of life, and the needs of veterans and first responders. Patriot Mobile has plans to fit any budget, along with great discounts for our veterans and first responder heroes, as well as multi-line users. Switching is easy. Just go to patriotmobile.com/Godzilla or call their U.S.-based customer service team, 972-PATRIOT. That's 972-728-7468. Use offer code Godzilla for free activation.
John Fredericks loves his radio and TV audience, but did you know how to follow the Godzilla of Truth wherever you go? Download the John Fredericks Radio Show app to listen live nationwide. For the daily chit-chat, Trucking the Truth, download the Getter app and join the morning fun on Getter Live from 6 to 10 a.m. Follow John Fredericks on Getter, Truth Social, or Twitter.
Get your truth by the truckload from America's Godzilla of Truth, The John Fredericks Show, weekdays 5 to 9 a.m. on WENO Nashville, KQPN West Memphis.
Breaking news at Town Hall. I'm Bob Agnew in Washington. A rosy assessment from President Trump after he signed a bill to reopen the government last night.
I think we really have a really great situation. We have a country that we love, and we have a country that's in great shape.
But he also took aim at Democrats for shutting down the country in the first place.
Over the past 7 weeks, the Democrats' shutdown has inflicted massive harm. They caused 20,000 flights to be canceled or delayed.
The president says overall the shutdown cost the U.S. more than $1 trillion. Who is donating to help the president's build that $300 million extension to the East Wing of the White House?
Major tech giants like Amazon, Apple, Google, HP, Meta, and Microsoft. Financiers like Steven Schwartzman, the CEO of the Blackstone Group. Crypto companies and owners that donated include Coinbase and the Winklevoss twins, famous from the movie Social Network. They're among the 37 donors on a list provided by the White House. So are big companies like Comcast, T-Mobile, Caterpillar, Union and Altria, which owns Philip Morris. Jennifer King, Washington.
The number of people diagnosed with tuberculosis worldwide rose again last year, and that includes right in this country, as Rich Thomason reports.
About 8.3 million people across the globe were newly diagnosed with TB in 2024. The World Health Organization says not all infections are diagnosed. The new numbers represent 78% of the estimated number of actual new cases. Globally, the number of deaths caused by TB fell last year. Tuberculosis cases in the U.S. continue to rise, reaching the highest in more than a dozen years. Rich Thomason reporting.
Slow going on Wall Street right now. The Dow Jones Industrial Average is down by 412 points. NASDAQ up by just about that same number, up 421. More from townhall.com.
Just hearing the word IRS can make people break out in a cold sweat. No one wants to deal with the IRS, and now you don't have to. The good news is Legal Tax Defense has been successfully negotiating with the IRS for more than 15 years. It doesn't matter how much you owe, whether it's $5,000 or $5 million. You deserve the best in the business on your side, and that is Legal Tax Defense. Even if you're working with someone else and just want a second opinion, there is no cost or obligation to call. They can prevent levies, liens, wage garnishments, even file back tax returns. And the best news about Legal Tax Defense is they won't take your case unless they know they will reduce or eliminate your tax debt. Call Legal Tax Defense right now for a free, no-risk consultation. 800-292-7875. 800-292-7875. You have nothing to lose but everything to gain. 800-292-7875.
Here's Greg Clarkson with a midday Wall Street Business Report.
Starbucks workers are on strike at dozens of stores around the country.
More than 1,000 unionized Starbucks workers are striking at 65 stores starting today. The union representing Starbucks workers says the striking employees are protesting a lack of progress in labor negotiations with the company. Starbucks Workers United says the walkout will impact stores in 45 cities. Starbucks says fewer than 4% of its U.S. stores are unionized, and most will operate normally. I'm Mike Hempen.
Economic growth in the UK slowed down to a near standstill in the third quarter of the year. The numbers are a blow to the British government less than 2 weeks ahead of a crucial budget that is expected to see taxes rise again. I'm Greg Clugston.
Breaking news and analysis can be found at townhall.com. Holiday shoppers on a budget might appreciate what Target is offering.
The retailer is slashing prices on 3,000 everyday items, such as food, beverages, and household essentials during the holiday season, as it seeks to attract shoppers who are tightening budgets amid economic uncertainties. Retailers are bracing for a muted holiday shopping season as U.S. consumers rein in spending amid stubborn inflation, elevated interest rates, and import tariffs.
It's Bill Alexander reporting thieves have made off with several ancient statues from Syria's National Museum.
The theft comes at a time where some in Syria are concerned about the fate of its ancient art, which hardline Islamists may want to abolish or destroy. Many ancient artifacts across in the Middle East during over a decade of conflict were looted and sold on the black market during the wars in Syria and Iraq.
That's correspondent Malak Harb, who reports the pieces date back to Roman times and more artifacts may be at risk. More of these stories at Town Hall.
It's the Michael Patrick Leahy Show, broadcasting live from downtown Nashville. Now, here's Michael Patrick Leahy.
Welcome back. We are delighted to welcome to our microphones here in studio the official guest host of the Michael Patrick Leahy Show, the executive director of the Tennessee Conservative Coalition, the one, the only, Aaron Gulbertson. Good afternoon or good morning, Aaron. Thanks for joining us.
Technically morning.
Morning here in Tennessee, afternoon in the East Coast.
This is true.
We are delighted to have you here. What now is that a Detroit? That's not a.
It's a Red Wings.
It's a Red Wings.
Yes.
I saw the Detroit thing, and the colors threw me off. But of course, you are a hockey guy.
Yes,
so the
I
Red
am.
Wings. Is that your hockey team? I'm
Yes.
trying to remember. Really?
Yeah.
Are you a Gordie Howe fan? Is that why?
I am. I got my father a Gordie Howe jersey several years ago, actually, for Christmas. So
The great
yeah.
Gordie Howe.
Yep.
Okay, so I want to talk about big picture American politics right now.
Okay.
There's a guy in the House of Representatives from Texas who I don't always agree with because he's a little bit on the edge. But we played a clip from him earlier in the program, and I agree with him completely on this. His name is Chip Roy, and I see you smile because he's running for Attorney General now in the state of Texas.
Because the Attorney General is primarying John Cornyn.
Ken Paxton.
Yeah.
Yeah. By the way, Texas, the politics of Texas are very, very weird these days.
Well, I mean, that's to be said in general. Texas is a little extra because, I mean, you've got so many statewide elected offices there. There's like a agriculture board that
the
you
railroad
can run for
commissioner.
statewide.
A lot of and of course, Texas is so big and growing. It's the only state in the union which came into the union, allowing it, if it wanted to, at some point, is to break into 5 separate states. It's
Right.
that big. And if you've ever been to Texas, you know that the East Texas is very different from West Texas.
Yeah.
Which is very different from the part of Texas that borders the McAllen, Mexico and Mexican border area, and then Dallas itself also is kind of the
I
middle.
mean, in
It's
Fort Worth, which is right next to Dallas,
Yeah.
which, is different than Dallas. So yeah, I mean, I've spent time in Dallas, Fort Worth. I've spent time in San Antonio, and then where was the other town I spent a fair amount of time in? I don't know. It'll come.
Well,
to me
it's a
later.
different place, and it's not. Let me just put it this way: they've got the weird state legislature where the Rhino Republicans have aligned with the Democrats to elect a speaker who's a Rhino. Here, that would never happen here.
Wouldn't happen here in Tennessee. Now, the people that call our great Tennessee legislature rhinos would do the same thing. So, I guess you could say that's a cautionary tale.
Yeah. So far, we're pretty good. Although I will have to say, historically, back in 2010. When Republicans had 50, they won 50 seats in the Tennessee House of Representatives, and the Democrats had 49. The weaseliest weasel in modern Tennessee history, second only to Don Sundquist, Kent Williams in 2010, he said, "If you all vote for me, I'll be Speaker of the House," and that's what happened. He was a Republican. He served one term.
Yeah.
Yeah. So, and his name lives in infamy among Tennesseans to this day. But what Chip Roy from Texas said, and there's a historical precedent for this. He said, "Look, we have so many foreign-born people here in America who have not assimilated. They don't believe in our country, and we've got to stop this. He wants to have a freeze on immigration for an indefinite period of time in the United States of America. I think that this is necessary and needed. I think it should be for at least 5 years, maybe 10 years. I'll make my case, but let me get your reaction to that idea first. Do you agree with me or have a different view?
No, I agree entirely. I think the issue is you have people that are coming to the United States with the intention of taking advantage of our freedom, sure, but our entitlement programs. And that is what happens when you have, we do have an immigration problem. We are in the middle of solving our illegal immigration problem. But it seems to me that our process pretty much got completely damaged when we went away from the old model, which was the best and brightest get through. Now you could say the worst of the first. Yeah. So, yeah. I mean, you had all the immigrants coming over from Europe, and they had to go through a pretty stringent process. And then, today people think, oh, well, immigration is, it is not hateful to be America first or whatever your country is if you're in that country, putting that needs above any others. And so Americans, as we are looking at immigration, should think, how do we get the best and brightest of over here? And we're not. We're getting people that are coming here that they hate America, that they're staying in their own little enclave, they're not assimilating. I remember seeing the change in Brooklyn and hearing the difference. I mean, you in Brooklyn, New York, you had your immigrant neighborhoods. They were Irish, they were Italian, and they all eventually assimilated. And then there was a period, and then frankly, a lot of Muslims moved into the neighborhood and took it over. And they have their own stores, and then blah blah blah, and they just don't assimilate.
Well, let me give you some numbers that back that up. So if you look at the United States, the foreign-born population of the United States from 1900 to 1965, in 1900 it was 13.6%. In 1910 it was 14.7%. In 1920, the Congress of the United States and the president said, look, we got a problem here because a lot of these foreign-born people are not assimilating. And so they decided in 1920 to basically freeze immigration. It was 13.2% in 1920. And they froze immigration, in essence, from 1920 to 1965. In 1965, only 4.8% of the United States was foreign-born. Now, Senator Edward Kennedy thought it would be a great idea to open up the country again, and it's been pretty much disastrous ever since. Let's look at where the reported foreign-born population of America is right now. It's gone from 12.9% in 2010 all the way up to, in 2025, the reported foreign-born population is 15.6% of the United States of America. I think that underestimates it, because how many of, they say there are 53 million foreign-born out of 341 million population today. But I think there are probably another 10 million illegals that are here, maybe more.
Oh yeah,
that aren't reported.
And significant chunks of all these groups are getting access to our welfare system. I mean, listen, it's shifted the national conversation.
You think?
I mean, in what circumstances do you think? And this is, of course, this is about winning elections, but I wonder, what circumstances do you think that you would have a government shutdown, let's just say 20, 30 years ago, and the predominant conversation on both sides of the issue would be about SNAP benefits?
Right.
I mean, what are people talking to? Now, certain people in Tennessee would tell you they're talking to rural counties, which is a fair amount of that's true. But the population overall, when you're talking about SNAP benefits, you're competing over the votes of people Republicans didn't necessarily. It's like the only thing that Republicans would be talking to them about, right?
So,
right now.
Okay, 5-year or 10-year immigration ban? I say 10.
I'd say as long as it takes.
Yeah, as long as it takes. 10 or more. That's my view. When we come back, another troubling story. What is going to happen with redistricting in 2026? States are going crazy, and the left is playing hardball. And conservatives, hardball someplace, but softball other places. Back after this.
Hi, folks. John Fredericks here for Freedom Alliance. Veterans are still struggling with the wounds of war. They came home with injuries that changed them forever. The flag-burning troublemakers in our streets remind me how fortunate we are to have patriots who served and fought, sacrificed, and never complained. We need to support them through organizations like the Freedom Alliance. It's Military Appreciation Month and time to support those who serve. Freedom Alliance is caring for combat veterans and military families. Combat veterans fought in the worst, most dangerous places on earth. Freedom Alliance takes them to nature's most relaxing locations so they can heal. Freedom Alliance gives injured troops mortgage-free homes, new cars, and all-terrain wheelchairs. For wounded vets, there's nothing like the stability of your own home, the reinsurance of a reliable vehicle, or the independence of a wheelchair that navigates snow, ice, beach, pasture, or most any terrain. Let's fight for those who fought for us. Go to freedomalliance.org/Godzilla and make a monthly gift that will improve the life of a military hero. That's freedomalliance.org/Godzilla. Make a contribution today.
If you're like me, most moms find it difficult to prioritize self-care. Hi, it's Colleen, Program Director at the John Fredericks Media Network. With the demands of programming 13 radio stations, it's easy to forget about the things I should do for myself daily. And that's why I started with our company's Women's Challenge with Native Path Collagen Peptides. It's affordable and convenient care in just one scoop a day. There are so many incredible health benefits like bone and joint support, metabolism booster, and hair, skin, and nail improvement. I like to take a moment each day to prioritize myself and indulge in the health-boosting benefits of Native Path Collagen Peptides. I love mixing it up with all the different smoothie recipes, too. Learn more about Native Path Collagen Peptides and read 7 important reasons why you should be taking collagen peptides at getnativepath.com/Godzilla. Prioritize your self-care with Native Path Collagen Peptides. Try it risk-free for as low as $21 today and get free shipping at getnativepath.com/Godzilla.
Target.com. Target.com is an online e-commerce tire retailer. We are here to serve the American public with the best possible customer service, the best pricing, and we make it extremely easy. We have many name brands and a lot of low-cost tires. The price is right, and it's easy. You go online to Target.com, Tireget.com, Target.com. You go there, you put your zip code in, all the inventory displays right in front of you. You can call in for help if you want to. We'll help you get the tire that you need. But we will take the tires you buy and at no extra charge deliver them to the dealer right by your house where they will be installed at the market price. It's easy. The best price, the best service. Great people to deal with. Thank you for going to Target.
I didn't risk my life for this country just to watch career politicians wreck it.
Matt Van Epps, 9 combat tours. True American hero.
Now, I'm on a new mission to bring down prices, create good paying jobs, and lower healthcare costs for working families. I'm Matt Van Epps, and I approve this message to fight for America, because that's what I've done my whole life.
Matt Van Epps for Congress.
Paid for by Matt Van Epps for Congress.
Welcome back to the Michael Patrick Leahy Show. Now, here's Michael Patrick Leahy.
In studio, official guest host of the Michael Patrick Leahy Show, Aaron Gobinson. Aaron, sometimes you have a crisis and you win the crisis and it's resolved, and then you relax and you think everything is fine. And then an even bigger crisis arises. I think about that a little bit when we talk about, Donald Trump won the presidency back. And it's been a pretty darn good 10 months, I would say.
Yeah.
I would give him a 98%, maybe 95%, with a few missteps. But, compared to 0 or negative, pretty darn good. But having said that, one thing I notice about the left is they hate America. They are mean and vicious, and they never give up. And they're well funded by left-wing billionaires.
Listen, the modern version of the phrase is, evil triumphs when good men do nothing is as follows. Evil in 2025 never sleeps, and when good decides to take a rest,
good
and that's the truth of what happens. It's kind of funny. There used to be, at least in my observation in the circles that I've run in, when a Democrat got elected to the presidency, you wouldn't gear up until it was a year out from the midterm. So you'd be gearing up now in the old days, right? The honeymoon period, as they called it. The left was determined and continues to be determined to ensure that no Republican gets their honeymoon period. And quite frankly, and I'll just say this, there's a lot of people that, and by the way, they never talk to me. I wonder why. But there's a lot of people that I hear that chirp around the state of Tennessee. It's like, why is everybody, why are people always, quote unquote, on? Why are you always fighting? Why are you always? Well, the left never sleeps.
Yeah.
And
they never give up.
And it's one of those things. This is a world where if you are determined to get something accomplished, you can't stop, you can't take a break, you can't take a vacation. If you're determined to stop something, you can't take a break, you can't take a vacation. And we can see that in a number of decisions that have been made recently, but I won't get into that. But, this is a world where you need wartime consigliaries in the Republican Party. The president is the ultimate wartime consigliere. But if you're trying to fight, and by the way, I hate to burst the bubble of some people, particularly in Williamson County, who think it's still 2010. You can't work with the Democrats ever. It is an anathema. Frankly, if you do, you should be culled from the herd and thrown out. But they never stop. There are no rules anymore either. It used to be if you can find dirt on somebody, like the president of the United States, you'd go hit him with it, right? The Democrats, as we've seen over the last decade, if they don't have something, they'll make it up, right? Most of the negativity that all of the negativity that they throw at Donald Trump is made up. They engage in lawfare. They don't have a problem putting people in prison.
Not one bit of a problem.
No.
I mean, Stephen Bannon, who has spent 4 months in prison, on literally bogus charges, from basically a weaponized Department of Justice.
Oh yeah,
they just don't like Steve Bannon, and they got a grand jury to indict him. They had basically a show trial. They put him in prison for 4 months. But he gave a warning. If we give up now, the Democrats are going to put a lot of us in prison.
Well, and
in 2028, 29.
And they don't like what they don't like that Steve. It's unfortunate because let's just say singling out a Steve Bannon. And listen, Steve's a friend of yours. He's a friend of mine. We talk. He has a few things that he's been on about late that I disagree with, but we certainly both highly agree on defending the President of the United States and also fighting child and human trafficking. But they see that, and Steve will always stand up for himself. They see somebody like Steve or the President Trump as a symbol of somebody they have to destroy to get other people to stop doing that.
Right. Yeah. Well, that's what they want to do. They want to intimidate via threats of imprisonment, threats of violence, and actual violence. Case in point, Jay Jones.
Yeah.
The now Attorney General elect in the state of Virginia.
And I will give America First fighters and also aspiring political professionals a little bit of advice here. And I know, Michael, you'll be shocked by this little advice. If you want to be successful in politics and actually accomplish anything, you can't give two rips about what people think about you. You can't be the one that goes, I want I want everyone to like me. You know, I want to be able to go down, you know, and have breakfast and hang out with all the, you know, hang out with people regardless of what party they're in. And it's just, you know, so you have to fight, and you have to do it nonstop. And if you're not willing to do that, then you should, you know, follow or get out of the way. If you are now, you know, there are misguided people out there, and I put this in the burn it down all crowd camp, that, you know, they just hate everybody and everything, and that, you know, and again, it's that political horseshoe. It happens on the left, and it happens on the quote unquote right. The people that do it on the right really wind up being aligned with the left. I mean, heck, look at Thomas Massey now over the last several
by
years.
the way, just going to say, last night he was one of 2 Republicans who joined the Democrats to oppose the shutdown bill.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And, you know, Republicans, when they fight the Democrats as with as much verve as they should, in an equal. And by the way, if you're fighting the Democrats, you should actually fight them harder than they fight you, in my opinion. But you get, you know, I'm tired even to this very day where I hear in 2025, you know, I love President Trump's policies, but I don't like everything he says. It's like, you know what? Get over it. Even that's your way of trying to say, well, you know, he shouldn't fight as hard as he should. I'm happy when he fights. I'm happy when I see the hilarious Mexican dancing memes that the White House is putting out.
I'm with you on that.
That is making a mockery of a position that should be mocked. Because again, at the end of the day, regardless of how silly that Michael Patrick Leahy and I think Democrat positions are, somehow there are voters out there that, quite frankly, are dumb enough to buy those positions and think it's okay, for example, for children to be mutilated. And so you do have to fight them back. But, and of course, we're seeing it right now. I mean, the Democrats are in the middle of a redistricting effort around the country that is designed to do one thing, which is defeat the Republicans next November and impeach the President of the United States.
Yeah, I mean, that's very obvious. Now, also, just to this point, the Democrats basically want to destroy Republicans, imprison them, put them in jail, end any opposition. Eric Holder has come out and said, yeah, we've got to redistrict everything, and we've got to we've got to pack the Supreme Court with a bunch of lefties.
Yeah.
And this whole business of kind of redistricting for the, you know, every 10 years you redistrict according to the census. Now, there are a lot of various moving parts on this.
Yeah.
We've got some litigation before the Supreme Court. We've got some questions about the 2020 census. But the bottom line is this, and when we come back, I'm going to want to go in more detail about this, but I'm going to make one key point right now. We have today in the House of Representatives, very narrow, 219 Republicans, 213 Democrats, 3 open seats. Okay. So 219, 213. Let's say one of those open seats goes Republican and 2 go Democrat. So that would be 220 to 215 as a starting point.
Yep.
Now, because Democrats always want to, they never stop. They use every tool in their toolkit to cheat. Because of that, we know that they have been planning for some time to redistrict at the state level. We got a jump on them in Texas.
Yeah.
And but the point is, people are saying, oh, if only you hadn't got the jump on them in Texas, they would not have made a change. That's a total BS. Total misunderstanding.
I mean, listen, if you know someone is going to come into your house and murder your family, you shoot them first. Sorry. I mean.
Yeah, that's exactly it. Now, when we come back, what I want to talk about is, where does all this redistricting battle stand state by state? We have some wins, some losses, and it looks like Virginia is likely to be in the category of potential big loss.
There will be one Republican left in Congress from Virginia.
That's how bad it's going to be in Virginia, because they just want to win. They don't care about fairness. We'll be back with Aaron Gulbranson with a state-by-state analysis of this after the break.
EJ Haast here, founder of the Digital Footprint Management Agency and frequent guest on the Michael Patrick Leahy Show, here to tell you about GetFoundEverywhere.com. Customers are searching for your business everywhere: Google, Apple Maps, TikTok, and new AI platforms like ChatGPT and Gemini, which is a total disruptor. Traditional search engine optimization isn't dead, but it is on life support. Old tactics don't work anymore. So how can you make your business stand out? GetFoundEverywhere.com makes your business pop on over 50 search, map, review, and AI-driven platforms. With one easy dashboard, manage business profiles, social media accounts, direct messages, even texts and reviews. GetFoundEverywhere.com is affordable, boosts your visibility, and gets your business more customers. It's time to step up your game the easy way. Save time, save money, and get more customers with GetFoundEverywhere.com.
This is State Senator Mark Pody. Government is limited to what it is supposed to do. One of the things that is critical that we're supposed to be working on is transportation. Here in Middle Tennessee, our roads need more help. As your state senator, we are focused on getting more money reoccurring without a new tax increase for our roads here in Tennessee. This is State Senator Mark Pody.
Paid for by Campaign for Mark Pody, Christina Hibden, Treasurer.
I'm Lenny McGill, founder and CEO of Glockstore.com. For over 30 years, I've supported the Second Amendment rights of free men and women to protect themselves and their families with firearms. We offer the very best in both selection and prices on Glock handguns, custom Glocks, Glock magazines, and high-performance shooting accessories at Glockstore.com. We also have the finest retail showroom and our Shoot 270 shoot rooms right here in Nashville, Tennessee. Come visit us at Glockstore.com, and you'll be glad you did.
My fellow Americans, my good friends, I've known them for a long time, at D.T. McCall & Sons have the deal of a lifetime for you, and nobody knows deals like I do. That much I can tell you. Nobody knows deals like I do. The lumber yards, they can hit you with hidden charges for up to $200 extra. They'll charge you for cords and hoses and haul-offs. Your money goes all over the place and out of the state, and most importantly, out of your pockets. How do they get away with that? I don't know how they do that, but on day one, if you buy from McCall's, we are going to stop the hidden charges as soon as you buy it. D.T. McCall & Sons has locations in Lebanon, Carthage, Lafayette, Cookeville, and Franklin, and they have been family-owned in Middle Tennessee for over 100 years. Head to one of their stores today or check them out at dtmccalls.com. You're going to love it, believe me.
Impersonator not endorsed by Donald Trump.
I'm Matt Van Epps, and I approve this message.
Meet woke liberal Afton Bain.
This is great. We've got our girl squad, and we're bullying the ICE vehicles and state troopers. So this is a win.
Afton Bain, so woke, she thinks it's a win to harass police.
This is great. We've got our girl squad, and we're bullying the ICE vehicles and state troopers. So this is a win.
Woke liberal Afton Bain. When she wins, we lose.
Paid for by Matt Van Epps for Congress.
Welcome back to the Michael Patrick Leahy Show. Now, here's Michael Patrick Leahy.
And welcome back to the Michael Patrick Leahy Show. In studio, the official guest host of the Michael Patrick Leahy Show, Aaron Gulbinson, also the executive director of the Tennessee Conservative Coalition. Okay, so let's do the analysis here. This is the untold story. This is the very important story with state-by-state battles that have gone on and are going on. So if you look at this breakdown, right now it's 219 to 213. It's very tiny advantage for Republicans in the House. Texas, they enacted new district lines in Texas this summer, +5 Republican. That's good. But California, because California, oh, by the way, Texas right now is 25R 13D. In California, 9 Republicans, 43D. It's not enough for the Democrats there. They passed Proposition 50 easily, 65% of the vote. They're going to add 5 Democrat districts. There will be 4, count them, 4 Republican representatives in the House of Representatives from California, most likely. and 48 Democrats. That's not exactly what you call a fair break, but that's where it's going to go.
Nope.
They don't play fair. They play dirty, and they play to win. So that's even.
Right.
Okay. Now let's look at Missouri. 6-2 right now are. They're going to add, they redistricted. They'll probably add one Republican. So that's +1. North Carolina, it's 7-7 right now. They've enacted it redistricting. That'll be +1 Republican. That's a +2. Okay. Now in Ohio, last month they enacted it. They're 10-5 now. They'll probably add 2. So we'll be +4 if that all works out. That's what's been enacted. But the rest of the story. In Utah, a Weasley Democrat judge has ordered a redistricting just this month, and that will likely add 1 Democrat seat.
Yeah.
So we're down to +3. Okay. Now, I think that's all that's officially done. There's several states considering it. Indiana, which would be good for the Republicans. Florida would be good. Kansas would be good slightly for the Republicans. Nebraska, Nebraska, if they do something, it would hurt Republicans because there's 3 districts there.
Mm-hmm.
And right now, they're all Republican. Virginia.
Yeah.
Oh, my goodness. Virginia and Maryland are both issues right now. In Maryland, 1 Republican out of 8. If they were to redistrict and get rid of that 1 Republican, we'd be down to +2.
Right. And then in Virginia.
Right now, it's what, 5-6? I think so, yeah.
Let's see,
5R, 6,
you got
16.
Higgins in the second,
Yeah,
Whitman in the
it's
first.
5R,
Yeah.
6. But if they do this, it could go to 10-1, and it looks like they're going to do it. So that would basically that would give a +2 overall for all of this that we've talked about. If Virginia passes this referendum, which is likely to get on the ballot in April,
Yep.
and I don't see any opposition, significant opposition, any organizational structure in among Republicans to stop it. Right now, it seems to me we are on a path with the redistricting, from what I can tell right now, that would give Democrats 2 more votes, which means if we ended up 220 to 215, that would be 218R, 217D, but anything could change it.
Well, and then you have, and then you would have the midterms traditionally where Republicans would lose seats anyway. But when you're starting
traditionally,
yeah. So you start out at 218 to 217 essentially. That
as we see it today,
and then of course I can think of a few different names that are, voting with the Democrats and significant. Thomas Massey, and you could very well see Thomas Massey vote.
If he were to get reelected. Now, the president has come out against him. And J.D. Vance, who knows Massey well, said, Thomas, you're my friend, but, you cannot vote against the president all the time and expect the president's going to end your party.
Yeah.
And you can't expect them to stand by you.
You can't take a stage next to the worst of the worst, like Ocasio-Cortez.
Yeah, and join hands
and try
with
to
him.
humiliate the president of the United States and stay in office. And, and take out the personalities here. You don't do that and humiliate the Republican Party and the conservative movement. It's great. Thomas Massey gets to say token things that are right. Like, we should, pay down the debt. Good on you. The government needs less spending. Good on you. That's completely not only negated, but just thrown in the trash when you stand with people like Ocasio-Cortez, Rashida Tlaib, and all that. I mean, it's just...
Well, look, let me just be clear where Thomas Massey lives. He lives on Libertarian Fantasy Island, right?
Yeah.
And
you know what libertarians are known for?
Tell me.
Imbibing.
The
devil's lettuce, as Senator John Kennedy likes to say. So it's.
Well, look, I think this is a world now where a quote principled libertarian is not what is needed there. And look, hopefully he'll.
Is there even a cohesive definition of libertarian in this modern age?
No.
I mean, I
No.
hear people. I actually, a friend of mine who's quote unquote a very proud little L libertarian. One day I just looked at him and I just to have fun with him. I was like, you know, you're not a real libertarian, and he goes, he's like, why? I said, you have common sense. I was like, you understand that?
Yeah.
I was like, no, you know, there's a lot of people you wouldn't hang out with if you. And you're not screaming in a high school gymnasium. You know.
So let's go back to Virginia, which it seems to be the critical one right now.
Oh yeah,
right, because it could be a 4-seat swing. That's where it looks like it's headed. And I asked Sean Kennedy about this last hour. I said, look, I'm hearing that they're going to throw in a lot of pro-abortion referendums in as well.
Yep.
And he seemed to think maybe not, but I think maybe they will. And so then you've got, the pro-abortion referendum ballot on April or May, and they throw in this redistricting. This is going to heighten Democrat turnout, which, by the way, they voted for the Attorney General candidate who said he wants to kill his Republican opponent.
Yeah.
That guy. He won by 6.5 points. What are the Republicans going to do? What are they going to do, Aaron Gulbinson, to stop this?
In the Commonwealth, well, they need to cut the state off at the Rappahannock River. Actually,
Well,
even that's not going to work.
By the way,
that's not going to work anymore.
Did you see this? What Patrick Morrisey, the governor of West Virginia, said?
No.
He said, "Look, he said, look, if you're in Virginia and you don't like the direction of the state, just move a few miles to the west and come join us in West Virginia."
I have to tell you, I'm personally very, very sad. I moved to Virginia at the end of 2007, left in 2019, and so I got to see, and this right here, ladies and gentlemen, is why you see Aaron Gulbinson fighting so hard against the Democrats and then the people on the quote-unquote populist side of things in the state, and why I call out a bunch of malarkey, because I saw this happen. The people, this is documented today. I'm seeing this in local political circles in Virginia. The people that are who like to call good conservatives rhinos joined with the Democrats in Virginia Beach, and helped influence those local elections for the Democrats. I mean, this is what happens.
Yeah.
So the problem that exists in that state, and this is a warning, Tennessee. And it could take 10 to 20 years, but Tennessee could be like Virginia if these people take over.
So let me just add to that. When I moved here to Tennessee with my family back in 1991, you had a Democrat governor, you had a Democrat-controlled state Senate, and you had a Democrat-controlled state House. And in 1991, the prospect of a Republican supermajority in the Tennessee General Assembly and Tennessee governors was a very remote possibility.
Yeah.
So you think about that. That's been a 34-year period of time. It's changed. And I'll tell you what the real warning sign is. The warning sign is not only the increase in the foreign-born population of the country, and we have some of that here in particularly in Nashville, right? But it's also the propagandizing of our younger people.
Yeah.
And if you look at the polling, those under the age of 30, well, in New York City, for instance, 75% of the people under the age of 30 voted for the Muslim Marxist, Mamdani.
Right, because New York City Democrats and young people are becoming, already pretty much anti-Semitic and anti-conservative or Republican in any stretch. And I've got to say, I think this is an alarming thing going on in circles on the quote-unquote right, where young people they don't know what the Holocaust is.
Yeah. Well, that's the problem. And we see that here in Tennessee. My point is that, back to the main theme here, which is if you think that we've got it made here and the critical time has come and gone and we've succeeded, You are incorrect.
Yeah, no.
We have made one step going forward, but the critical time is now.
My personal mission that overrides everything else in the state, and just to give you an insight into what goes on in Aaron's brain, because I censor myself so much. I am,
and we are all thankful for that.
I will. That's true. I will die. I will die before I let Tennessee become like Virginia. To be clear, I've seen this playbook before. I lived through it. I'm not going to let it happen. And anybody that, upon doing, adequate research and all that I think any group, any person, any political figure that their mission is to turn Tennessee into a place like Virginia, and then even worse, like New York, you're going to deal with me, and I'm going to come at you like 1,000 billion cajillion bricks.
Well, we're going to need a lot of people with that level of commitment. Aaron Goldmanson, thank you so much for joining us today. I know you've got a very important meeting you have to head to, so we'll be without you for News Potpourri, but we really appreciate your coming by. Thanks for joining us today.
Thank you, Michael.
News Potpourri when we get back.
Tom Carmichael, CEO of Soul Tea, a supplement to help you have a healthier heart and stronger cardiovascular system. At Soul Tea, we regularly get emails from our customers telling us how Soul Tea has helped them. Like this one from Kelly. Hello, I'm 58 years old and have had high cholesterol for years. I wanted to stay away from prescription drugs. My husband and I have been using Soul Tea for about 13 months. My results have been amazing. My cholesterol levels went from 291 to 129. I am so impressed with Soul Tea and want to thank you. Now, in my own case, my bad cholesterol dropped from 130 to 89, and that was 20 years ago. I'm 75 years old and I take 0 prescription drugs. To get a great deal on Soul Tea, please go to GodzillaHeart.com, and when you check out, use the code Godzilla to get our best deal, which is 50% off your first shipment and then 3 bottles for the price of 2 thereafter. You don't have to live with a broken heart.
Do you suffer from
Try
declining
Soul
bone
Tea
and
today.
joint health? Hi, it's Tina with the John Fredericks Media Network. And when I heard about our company's Women's Challenge, I jumped on the opportunity to test this amazing supplement that's already restoring my bone density, soothing my joint pain, and helping me regain lost mobility. I've experienced so many benefits in such a short time with Native Path Collagen Peptides because they support my bones and joints, boost my metabolism, and unleash the most radiant skin and hair since my 20s. In just 2 weeks, my knee stiffness is gone, and I'm already hitting the gym more aggressively. And I get so many compliments on my glowy skin and shiny hair. Native Path Collagen Peptides are so easy to take. They're tasteless, odorless, and mix great with my morning coffee. Read thousands of 5-star reviews at getnativepath.com/Godzilla. Level up your self-care with Native Path Collagen Peptides. Try it risk-free for as low as $21 today. And get free shipping at getnativepath.com/Godzilla.
In 2008, the amount of concentrated time people could spend on a task without becoming distracted was 12 seconds. 5 years later, it was only 8 seconds, 1 second less than a goldfish. If you're often distracted or have trouble recalling information, you're likely to fall behind in the demanding, fast-paced 21st century. In other words, brain performance is more critical now than ever. Boost your brain power with Healthy Cells Focus Plus Recall. Science-backed nootropics to help you sharpen focus, concentrate longer, enhance recall, improve mental speed, learn rapidly, and be more alert. It's a pill-free brain supplement made with maximum absorption ingestible gel technology, designed to feed your brain at the cellular level. Take it for a test drive. Go to healthycell.com and use code GODZILLA for 20% off your first order of Focus Plus Recall. That's healthycell.com, code GODZILLA for 20% off.
Welcome back to the Michael Patrick Leahy Show. Now, here's Michael Patrick Leahy.
And welcome back to the Michael Patrick Leahy Show. Well, folks, it's that time of day again. It's time for News Potpourri. Yes, ladies and gentlemen, News Potpourri. This is the portion of the program where we talk about those stories that are of note but don't necessarily merit a full segment. I think we got News Potpourri coming. Yeah, there we go. Okay, good. So here we go. Number one, we have a tragic story out of Boise, Idaho. Could have been prevented. This is from Kevin Dalton. An elementary school girl was struck and killed by a truck as she attempted to walk across an intersection on Tuesday afternoon. Now we know the name of the driver, Elvin Ramos Caballero. Guess what? He had an outstanding federal warrant from the U.S. Immigration Customs Enforcement Division. He's now in custody. Very, very sad. But look, we see this all the time. And I talked about this earlier. We just have our foreign-born populations just too high. And a lot of people who are in that foreign-born population just don't abide by our rules. Got to stop. Got to stop. What else do we have going? Oh, BBC. We got a couple of BBC stories here. They've been in the news a bit of late. And, of course, Donald Trump is threatening to sue them for $1 billion. British Broadcasting Corporation, which is basically funded by the United Kingdom government, right? And it's been for a long time. They doctored the videotape of a speech that he gave on March 6th, on January 6th, rather, 2020, and played it just before the election on 2024. Senior executives have resigned. He said, you know, if you don't fix this, I am going to, if you don't fix this, I'm basically going to sue you for $1 billion. And I think he will. Well, here's a weird story from the BBC. BBC is reporting the breast milk of transgenders is just as good as the breast milk from women. Let's play this clip.
Now, a transgender woman's milk is just as good for babies as breast milk. That's according to a letter from the medical director at University Hospital Sussex NHS Foundation Trust. The claim was made as part of a response against campaign groups. The trust referred to studies and the World Health Organization guidance, including one case which found what it called no observable effects in babies fed by induced lactation.
Okay, they're crazy. I mean, doesn't Bill O'Reilly have a book out? Who Killed England? Yeah, I think so. And I think it's about what's happened in the past 20 years. Didn't you see this this clip? A very sad clip, like a 100-year-old guy, a veteran from D-Day, who was interviewed on one of the networks there and said, "I can't believe that we fought so hard for our freedoms, and now it's all been given away with this by these leftist governments." Here's another BBC story from our friend at Mike Benz. Mike Benz, you see him all the time talking about the deep state. USAID, remember those guys? USAID. They are the single biggest donor, other than the British government, to BBC Media Action. That's the BBC's giant pool of free money that they use to pay hundreds and other media outlets to produce a bunch of slop and magnify stories that originally begin with BBC. Why? How much is it that they spent? They spent, $2.6 billion. Do I have that right? It's a lot. It's a whole bunch of money. Anyways, another very, very bad idea. So we got that going on. What else is going on in the world today? If you want to look at some fun stuff, Kai Trump, the granddaughter of President Trump, she's on an LPGA tour event. She wants to be a big golfer. It seems like a nice young girl. She's got a college scholarship to play golf at the University of Miami. Apparently, because Donald Trump likes to play golf, they go out and they have a little competition together. She is now apparently competing in an LPGA event, and she smoked her first tee shot. This, according to Citizen Free Press. So good for her. We're rooting for her. Hope that all works out well. What else do we have going on today? Tim Burchett, a member of Congress from the 2nd District, our friend, wanted to get all of the details of the Epstein emails released. No, didn't happen. So that sounds like a very weird deal. Maybe they'll come out eventually. What else do we have going on? Oh, let's play that clip from Tim Burchett. Thank you.
Is that point bill to release the Epstein files? Yeah, that's why I just put a bill up. I just tried to move it ahead because what you're seeing right now is what exactly is going to happen, going to continue happening. Everybody's going to pull little piecemeal portions. Sorry about that. I got to animate. I'm Southern Baptist. They're going to pull portions of it out, and they're going to try to fit their own little narrative. Both sides are going to do it. You all know it, and you're all going to feed upon it. Let's just get the dadgum bill out. Let's vote it out, and the Democrats oppose me on it. It's stupid.
Yeah, it's the Democrats, by the way, that don't want the Epstein emails out. I wonder why. They did leak some with a redacted individual there. This was the Virginia Jeffrey. She, apparently had been a victim of Epstein, and it said Donald Trump was always very nice to me and never involved in any of this activity. They redacted her name intentionally to kind of create some suspicion of Donald Trump. Not really working very well. Got another little deal going on worldwide. In Seattle, that socialist candidate has won election as mayor. Not a good thing. I'm warning you, folks. The socialists are on the rise in the blue cities, and they must be stopped. Well, there you go. That is our program for today. Hey, tomorrow, Speaker of the House Cam Sexton will be here in studio in our third hour. Sounds great. Appreciate you coming by today. We'll be back tomorrow morning, same time, same place. I'm Michael Patrick Leahy. The website, TennesseeStar.com. Thanks for joining us today.
This is State Senator Mark Pouty. Government is limited to what it is supposed to do. One of the things that is critical that we're supposed to be working on is transportation. Here in Middle Tennessee, our roads need more help. As your state senator, we are focused on getting more money reoccurring without a new tax increase for our roads here in Tennessee. This is State Senator Mark Pouty.
Paid for by Campaign for Mark Pouty, Christina Hibden, Treasurer.
Hey there, it's Lenny McGill, founder and CEO of GlockStore.com. For over 30 years, I've supported our Second Amendment rights with GlockStore.com, the world's #1 source for Glock handguns, parts, and accessories. I also support accurate, unbiased journalism like The Michael Patrick Leahy Show. His team broke the Kilmar Abrego Garcia traffic stop and was the first to obtain that video. Independent journalism at its finest. Visit us at GlockStore.com. Listen to Michael Patrick Leahy and make America great again.
FlatFeeNashville.com is a full-service real estate brokerage that charges homeowners a upfront flat fee of $999 to completely list, market, and sell your home. We are all about saving consumers money, saving that equity. Nobody should hire an agent and feel like when that agent walks in the door, that agent is more concerned about the down payment on their next Mercedes purchase versus saving the equity that those homeowners have worked hard for. I've spent my entire career in ensuring that the equity that people save and they put into their monthly mortgage every single month, as much of that as we possibly can goes back to them when they go to list and sell that home. The idea is to give homeowners the ability to really create generational wealth.
Flatfeenashville.com, flatfeenashville.com.